to London. So that's good news.
All good. News Radio's broadcast is brought to you by our sponsors, Michelin Tyres, Trials Magazine, Thistle Access,
Comms
West, and Nevis Bakery.
Nevis Bakery. Oh, there you are.
See, look at this. The box has already been ransacked. Dan's found the box.
Somebody's been in it already.
Nevis Bakery for sure, brought bread.
There you go.
And we'll be giving that to some riders if they want it. You go and do your...
I'll do my distribution.
Your Santa thing.
Yeah, Santa Claus.
It's amazing how many people won't take it. It's a strange man giving me sweeties.
That's
no
probably
children, no lovely children. You watch the Jiggy Bang Bang.
Yes. Was it called the Kiddie Catcher or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Child Catcher. Yeah. He was a great actor.
Yeah, and of course the CEO of Nevis Bakery, Archie Patterson, his nephew's riding number 1, Gavin Cairns. He led the trial for half an hour, then it all went pear-shaped. So he had a few threes and things, but I think Gavin had quite a good day yesterday, so he seemed quite happy when he came back in last night. So that's all good, yeah.
Good. We'll be catching up with various people as we go through this day. We're live with you till 11 o'clock this morning. Right now it's 9 minutes past 7. Currently 10.5 degrees. It's quite chilly compared to yesterday. A bit of a breeze blowing through.
Yeah, it's a bit duller than yesterday, but still, as it is just now, the riders would thank you for this, yeah, because once they get up onto the moors and get going, they start to get hot, and this kind of weather's just ideal for them riding, so they won't be complaining about it. Bit of a different day today. It's not much in the way of spectating, because there's a big gap in the middle of the day where Loch Shuley and B are quite far out, but not only that, the Conaglen estate don't allow spectators on their ground, and obviously the organisers have to abide by what the landowners wish. So it's a bit sort of sparse for spectating. For me, it's a case of going down to Witches Burn, and then I'll pop down to the Corn Ferry and catch them as they come back off the Corn Ferry, rather than go across. Not really to see any sections, so it's not a great spectating day for me anyway. Some people will probably get a bit further out if they're not following people around that are at the back of the queue. So, but it's all still to play for, obviously. And we've just been given the results, so I'll probably have to wade my way through them at some point.
I had a look last night. I went online, had a professional look, and a few surprises.
Yeah, I didn't actually look last night on the internet. Did you go on SSDT.org? Yeah. So I'm quite surprised myself just seeing the names there. But well, listed as one of the leaders. Obviously, there's a four riders on the same mark, on one mark at the moment. Number 124, Jack Price, who is a previous winner of the Scott Trial. Multiple winner of the Scott Trial, so he's doing well.
Where's he based? Where's he actually based?
I'm trying to remember where Jack's based now. I think is it Huddersfield? I'm not quite sure. But he is more into riding enduros nowadays. He's making a career out of motorcycling through enduros. So, and then there's two brothers, Jack and Dan Peace, one of which I think is involved with the army now. I think it's Dan that's involved with that. Their father, a previous rider up here as well. And then Ross Danby, an old friend of mine who actually rode a 125 up here some many years ago and got the small capacity class win. So Ross is also doing some enduro riding now as well. So this shows you a lot of the good trials riders migrate to enduros because obviously, I'll be quite blunt, there's money in enduros.
Oh, well, there you go.
You can make a living out of that one.
Like I say, you're trying to make a living, you've got to go where the money is.
Yeah, and then we have stated as in 5th place, Toby Martin, who's a world championship rider. He's on 4 marks, and in 6th position, local lad, number 208, Gary MacDonald. Also on 4, so it's all good. In 7th position at the moment, Dougie Lampkin, 14 times winner on 5 marks. So there you have it.
And I imagine Dougie not being at the top will make him a bit more comfortable. He's not being chased. He can now chase other people. With that weight working his head.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, it's all down to tactics.
That pressure, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, and the thing about Doug Lampkin is that he's done it so many times before. I mean, I think his first win was 1994. Which is 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's That's quite some time.
Yeah, no,
and it's
definitely.
quite some time to be still in the winnings, if you like, because obviously he's last year's winner. But yeah, I mean, he'll be looking at things very closely, and he'll be trying to arrange things to claw back marks, as we say, towards the end of the week. That's what his aim will be.
Yeah, no, exactly. A good tactician.
Yes, aye. I mean, I know a gentleman who was the Scottish Scrambles champion, George Hodge from Lanarkshire, and he used to sit in second place in many, many races in scrambling, what we call now motocross, and he would sit just behind the leader the whole race, however many laps it was, and in the very last lap, he would just pounce and overtake him just before the line. And his family nickname was Nicky Hodge. And Nicky would just sit in the back wheel of this guy until the last minute, and then just almost like slipstreaming him, and then pounce at the very last minute. And of course that really hacked people off because they thought they were winning, and of course he would pick up the prize money at the end of the day.
Like a spider getting its prey.
Yeah.
A quote from the Formula One circus that I remember was from Alan Prost: is "You need to win in the slowest time possible."
That's right.
Yeah. No, that's what it's about, isn't it? Why thrash out to the front?
Yeah.
No, I'm with that 100%. Right, I guess we should do some weather and maybe a tune.
Yeah, we can do that. So I would just getting the old social shared out, all that kind of business.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can do some weather. You want weather first, then tune?
However you want to play it. You push the buttons.
I'll tell you what, we'll do weather then tune. How's that?
Yeah.
I've got just while we're here.
Saxon.
May as well say I've got 2 advert breaks this hour, so you can do with them what you wish.
Okay, we'll do one now then. Let's do the weather.
Yeah.
Tune. Weather.
Yeah.
Ads and tune.
Yeah, we can do that way.
That'd work, wouldn't it?
Cool.
We'll come back out the tune, and we'll have a look at the routes for the day.
Okay.
For the route.
Today's weather on Nevis Radio, brought to you by Thistle Access.
Lochaber even's going to be mainly cloudy, a little drizzle at first, but becoming drier. Elsewhere, it's going to remain dry with variable amounts of cloud and sunshine at time. Your maximum high, 14 degrees centigrade, 57 Fahrenheit. Tonight, this evening will be dry with some late sunshine in the north and west. The rest of the night's going to be dry with variable amounts of cloud. They like the word variable today. Minimum overnight low, 7 degrees centigrade, 45 Fahrenheit.
That was today's weather on Nevis Radio, brought to you by Thistle Access.
From lodges by the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle, they all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
Trying to get a better view on things.
A better view.
A better view.
Is that you upscaled to HD then?
Well, I was looking at some of the footage yesterday, which is very, very better. Very, very better. Very better than what we've had in the past.
Much improved.
Much improved, high quality, and yeah, it doesn't do my skin much good.
Well, for anybody watching, because I believe there are people watching now, we are streaming this in 1080p, which is the first time we've done that, because it was 720p last year for the technically minded, and we've upped the frame rate, so it should look smoother on your smart TV.
Oh, you see. Mr. Moffat was just saying he's just been looking on YouTube, and he says he's on there already. And how's that work? And I said, because it's live. People can watch us live right now.
Yeah, you can watch yourself if you want. You're like 30 seconds behind, so you can almost create like one of those loops like you see on TV.
That would just confuse it for me. I would end up getting confused, and I don't want to do that early in the morning.
Confused Moffat, it's not good.
Not good. Not good scene at all.
Not a good thing at all. First ride away, as ever, is 7:30. And which numbers do we start from today?
It'll be in the early 50s, I think. I haven't actually looked up the numbers.
58's out there at the moment, getting ready.
Yeah. So they normally sort of split it sort of 50 odd a day, spread over the 6 days. So obviously there's groups of riders. So, for example, Gavin Cairns, who is number one, is at the back of the field today. So this will be a long lie for Gavin, which he'll need to rest his weary bones, as they say. And it's all to play for again on day 2 of the Scottish 6 Days Trial. Will we go through the route?
You certainly can do. We're just watching the secretary. They're going around putting bits of tape on some riders, which I'm assuming are out the race now.
It could well be if it's a red line.
A line going through the number, yeah.
That indicates that they're now going to ride for no award if they take the bike out. So they've either timed out or maybe been broken down and brought back in. It's a thing that crept in some years ago where the organisers allowed people to continue to ride round, because obviously with an entry fee of £700 or thereby, you know, it's an expensive week for people to come here not to actually go out on their motorbike. So they allow them to ride round for no award, and that's a good thing in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we'll try and catch up on the riders we go through this morning as well. Today's a bit calmer, things are sort of settled down, people will be tinkering, which means they've got a bit more time. But yeah, why don't we have a look at that route?
Yeah, the route, we'll have a look at the route for day 2, the 7th of May, here at the Scottish 6 Days Trial 2024. The first group is a single sub at Witches Burn. That's on the road to Achnacarry House, which was famous in the Second World War conflict, training the Marines there, just behind Spean Bridge. So Witches Burn's the first one. The first rider arrives there at 8:10 this morning. And then it gets a bit sparse for spectators. You've got Group B, there's 4 sections at Glen Maline, I think it's. The first rider's there at 9 o'clock. Then Group C, 3 sections at Upper Uachen at 10 o'clock, the first rider. Group D, 2 sections at Lower Uachen at 10:35. Now I think there's a spectator section there, so it's highlighted in the programme. Group D, they have them in green on the map. Then it's the fuel and rest stop. And then it's on to groups E and F at Loch Shiel A and Loch Shiel B. I think that's on the Connaglen estate. First riders are there at 11:10 and 11:20. Then over to Bellsgrove, which is near Struntian, which is Group G. That is available for spectators and a bit of a walk-in. The first rider's there at 12 noon. Then it's across to Group H, 3 sections at Achnalee at 12:30. And then Group I think I'm misspelling that, I'm sure it's Inversander as opposed to Inversandair. There's 2 sections there, first rider's there at 12:50. Then it's the last group of the day, Group J, which is over the other side of the Corn Ferry, and that's 3 sections at Ardgour, first rider's there at 1:20. So it's a sort of difficult day in some ways, in that you're going away out onto the peninsula and picking up some of the sections, but obviously not all of them. So it's just the ones that are in the programme that are highlighted in green that are the ones that are advisable for spectators to go. But you can expect a bit of a walk at some of them. They're not just right at the roadside.
And the programmes, if you want to get one, they're available around various outlets. I think most of the petrol stations, I think Smiths have got them in town. W.H. Smiths definitely have them in town, but there are other outlets as well. Yeah. So I don't know if the website actually states. It used to state where they were distributed to, which is quite handy because people could then look up the website and say, oh yeah, I can buy them in that shop. But I think at one time they went out as far as Glencoe to the station out there. I think it's the Gleaner station, I think, out in Glencoe used to sell them. So they are out and about there, so just keep your eye open. Certainly W.H. Smith's in the town had them or have them, and there's a poster in the window advertising them. So if you haven't got your programme, try and get them quickly, because obviously they do go quite quickly. They're priced at £5. Which isn't bad, it's not really gone up.
No, it's not gone up in several years now. But actually, before the 6 days, I put some stuff on Facebook on one of the pages, Trials When Stopping Went to 5, and I featured from, I think it was 1947, I went through each year, the front covers, and it's incredible how the prices have changed.
Yeah. So I thought it should have been a few shillings when they came out.
Yeah, well, it was, I'm trying to think now, 1973, it was like 5 pence or something.
Yeah.
Or was it 10? But I think it went for 5 to 10 pence. And I actually was quite critical because in 1974 it was a really cheap edition they did then. It was a nice front cover,
Yeah.
it was A4, and a nice back cover. Now that was sponsored by the former dealers and the Bultaco importers, Comerfords at Thames Ditton in Surrey. They paid for that. But in the middle it was like these just Stetner or Banda sheet type printed off things. And I said, oh, I don't know what happened there. It was a really cheap edition of the programme. And one of my friends, I think it was Ian Middleton, came on and said, well, actually, I think there was either a printer's strike or there was a shortage of paper or it was something to do with, remember how there was there was fuel rationing.
Like I say,
there was a bit of a crisis, and at one point they reckoned the Scottish might not go ahead because of the lack of petrol in the UK, because they were issuing rationing books, if you remember, about that time. So there's something that caused the committee to downgrade the programme. And then in the 1980s, the programme was taken over by the then Trials and Motocross News, and they produced it, and it was actually Mike Rapley, who is a well-known photojournalist, and he actually produced or pulled together all the information for those programmes, and he couldn't remember himself how long he did it for, and it was something like 1984 to 1998. It was 15 years they did it, but it was like a newspaper. And of course, if you took that out onto the hill in the wet, there was very little left of it. So these are actually pretty rare now, and if you can get your hands on them, they're changing hands for quite high prices. I think you mentioned yesterday about the programme being a bit of a collector's item. Well, it's not at the moment, but give it 15, 20 years, and then people say, oh, have you got a copy of the 2024 programme? Because that was a year of road and I've lost mine. And then they start popping up on eBay and auction sites and stuff. I've got the full collection from 1947 to the present day. Obviously missing 2001 because of the foot and mouth and the years that we missed due to the pandemic. So yeah, that's the programme. So get your copy now while they're still available.
There's actually a lot of information. It's got details on the riders. I was looking at details on the new riders coming through as well. And it just gives that bit of a background, which I think is quite nice.
Yeah.
And don't forget the the full page feature on Nevis Radio's on there.
There are, and the thing is, it's a snapshot of riders of this era.
Yeah.
And that's quite handy to look back those records and see who was riding the 6 days at a certain period in time. That's what I enjoy doing, so it's good.
I don't know how many they produce, a few hundred, maybe 1,000, I don't know how many it is.
It's a couple of thousand, I would think. I think something like about 2,500 rings a bell with me for some reason. So I don't just buy one copy, I buy several copies and put them aside.
Yeah.
And then
one to thumb through and one to keep them pristine.
Well, I'll keep a couple pristine. I keep them all pristine if I can. Obviously, I'm using one myself today here, and it's really in the future when people mislay them, and for some reason they seek me out and say, "You wouldn't happen to have." So I've actually sold a couple of copies because being a mercenary and being
No, don't use
the
that
R word. I've got to
for
find some income for somewhere rather than my pensions. So anyway, I have sold a couple, but it's to people who I felt needed it, and that was riders or former riders. There's one on Facebook called Honda Rider. He purchased a copy of the year that he rode. I think he must have lost his, and I had a spare one, so I let it go. But it was one of the paper ones.
Like I say, people want them for their own sort of reason, then they don't try to make extra money. It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's either themselves or you're trying to find their fathers that have ridden and they've got the award for the finishers or whatever, but they don't have the programme to go with it. And it's like having a set, I'm
with it.
Collector's sort of thing. Yeah.
I am with it. Time-wise, we are 7:32 in a few seconds. It's warming up to 10.9 degrees now. Studio, have we got any sort of messages, anything to come through?
No, I'm just busy sharing links out everywhere just now.
You like doing that, don't you?
No, not really, but yeah, it needs to be done.
It's the way of life these days. Links and that sort of, I don't know, nonsense, some of it.
Well, just try to get word out there that you can go and watch you guys. That's what it's all about.
Oh, you see, that's what it's about. Let's say our area is really quiet today because yesterday there was loads of cars. There were the refuelling teams. There's nobody here today, which is quite unusual. So we've got a lot of space in front of us. You've been watching some of the bikes getting ready. So I think we're up to rider 50-something is leaving right now. I can't see who it is. But John Moffat's going to have a quick look. He's wandering around the front. There he goes, the back of John Moffat. To find out, I think it's about 53 is leaving, or 52 is leaving right now. So that's the first rider you can hear in the background. Just started the machine up.
Yeah, it's 52 that's actually leaving right now, so that's the number. So they must have started at 50 or 51, I think, today, because there have been a couple of riders. Well, now it's 7:33, so this is the third rider to leave now.
Absolutely. Your team here, as I think I mentioned, Dan's in the van, technical Dan, doing a sterling job in there. He's in his shorts, but he said it's almost jeans weather today because it does blow a little bit of a hoolie through there.
Yeah, he's got his shorts on, I noticed that. Thought he was a hardy lad. Is that your brolly falling over?
No, it's worse than that.
No, it's worse than that. It's a phone. So, yeah, their second day, they're all beginning to leave the car park or a Parc Ferme here in the west end of Fort William. If you're up on holiday, that's what the activity is. If you're listening into Nevis Radio, and we hope you are, just be aware that there'll be some motorcycles on the road. As you've obviously gathered, they leave at 1 minute intervals, so they're not all bunched together. So just be aware that there's trials motorcycles on parts of the roads today, especially if you're over on the Moider area. That's just something to watch out for.
I don't want to be negative, but I was out yesterday and there was 3 riders, across the road, 3 abreast, which in my opinion, is out of order. I don't know what you feel about that. I know you're. It's one of these things.
I wouldn't want to ride in a trial on the road 3 abreast. Certainly not. It's too wide. I mean, the width of the handlebars alone, that'll take up the value of a.
Well, they were chatting while they're riding up the main road, and you think,
they do that.
I'm not naming it. I've got the numbers, but it's not about that, but. Surely common sense on their part should prevail a bit. You can understand why some people on the roads get upset with them. Yeah,
well, obviously the bikes tend to move around at about circa 40-45 miles an hour. Well, of course, the family car will be sitting quite happily up to 60 miles an hour on open roads. So for the riders, just sort of remember that people are coming up behind you. Yeah. These bikes don't usually, or never ever, carry mirrors on them. So the rider can't see behind unless he actually glances round, which if you watch them, some of them do. Those that are road aware, maybe some trials riders that do some road work on bikes, they tend to look round behind them to be spatially aware. I certainly do. Because I want to know what's coming up behind me if it's a big truck, because you don't always hear them coming with the wind noise in your helmet. So 3 abreast, not advisable at all. I don't think that's very good roadcraft, to be honest. You should really just ride your own. You shouldn't even ride 2 abreast.
Yeah, 2 is bad enough.
I mean, we all get annoyed with cyclists when they do that, and there's no difference. And of course, you've got to give cyclists adequate road width now. You've got to make sure you pull right over and overtake them as if you're overtaking a car, basically. That's not the way to ride on the road, is 3 abreast.
No, it's not very often. I think, oh, come on, guys, that's out of order. And you think, right, what do you do? Do you sort of phone it into you saying, hopefully it's just a one-off?
Well, and we can sort of cover it on the radio, and if they're listening in, having their breakfast, just cover it.
Sunshine.
Oh, so it is.
It's sunshine.
I thought it was a search lamp or something.
No, there's brightness in the sky.
It certainly is.
Oh,
there's a big hole in the clouds right now. This is
there's a lot more cloud behind it. A lot of cloud behind it.
It's a morning sun. Can you tell the difference? That sort of golden sort of glow it gives. So there you are. Sun has popped out.
A certain cornflake brand of that.
That's right.
Shade of cornflake.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, you asked for a tune from 1984, is that correct?
1984, yes. I'll be looking for that. In fact, hold on just a second. That's better now. I can see what I'm reading now.
You come prepped today. You weren't prepped with this bit of paper.
I prepped it up, 40 years ago, 1984. Wow, hard to believe that. So anybody who's 40 was born at that time. Terry Michaud, the French rider, who obviously became world trials champion, was riding a 249 Fantic, and he won the Scottish 6 Days trial 40 years ago. That was the year, funnily enough, that we mentioned earlier that Trials and Motocross actually took over the job of producing on behalf of the SSDT committee the actual official programme. And on the front of that programme, I think it was actually featured Fantic rider John Lampkin. So, Terry Michaud, he won it a few times, and he was on a 249 Fantic. And the record, if we can go on to that,
Yep.
I'd like to choose...
Hang on, the record.
Sorry, the tune. It was a record back then.
Have you got the needle on the record?
Tee it up. Sty?
Ah, stylus. They've got a needle on the record.
Sty.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Stylus Sty. Yeah, it peaked at number 3 in the charts that year. And as I say, I've picked some tunes that are representative of the era. You know, when we were travelling to the Scottish 6 Days here in Fort William from down south, your radio would constantly play the same thing, and you would pick it up 2 or 3 times on your journey, and then it got into your head, and it sort of symbolised that particular era, that particular year. And I've picked them all from round about the end of April, beginning of May, when the Scottish was on, and well-known tunes. So this one peaked at number 3, and it's by Queen, and it's I Want to Break Free.
Sorry, I'm just sorting out down. While I get that sorted out, can you just advise when are we going to have a wee look at the route? Because I got Fiona asking where is good for trials bikes and where could they watch them today. So could we do that after
we did it about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think she's just tuned in. So if we could have a quick recap of that shortly, that'd be very, very handy.
Come back to us after the tune and ad, and we'll do it then.
Wicked.
Scottish 6-day trial on Nevis Radio is sponsored by Michelin and Trial Magazine.
I want to break free. I want to break free.
Cause you woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make it harder. Think about it. The world time has come to.
For the players.
You will never be stuck for things to do and places to see throughout Lochaber. Experience the abundance of history, immerse yourself in a movie scene, walk within our great outdoors and see our wildlife running free. Rain or shine, there is always something to do. Get out and enjoy all the incredible things we have to offer right here in Lochaber.
Initiative to move, so I make it harder. Think about it, so many things do be cool and look smooth. The world time has come to.
Way up north.
Yeah, and it was sunshine just a minute ago, which was fantastic.
But it's gone chilly again now.
Just a little touch, but it's, was that over there degrees?
11.1.
11.1 degrees. Pretty warm for this time of year, though, at this time in the morning.
Compared to what we've had in the past, I'm taking that.
Morning's always chilly, you know, because of the air temperatures and whatnot, so it's got to be built up. So, but as I said earlier, it's not bad weather for riding, for riders. It's I think they'll like this today, so long may it continue.
Yeah, because I mean they've done that pretty well. They're pretty watertight, the riders, and I suppose in the hot weather it does get too hot. Yeah, well yesterday there were a lot of them were riding without jackets and things like that because it was quite warm. And when we were down at Lagnaha, it was a really nice day to be out on the hill or whatever. So thank you very much to all the landowners, of course, that around the Lochaber area that they give their permission to the Scottish 6 Days Trial to traverse their property. It's very much appreciated. Is there a standard safety gear the rider has to use? Obviously a helmet, but do they have to wear boots? They have to have proper leathers on their knees and the stuff like that? Is there actually I know the bike gets checked. Do the riders get checked for safety and things? Well, the riders with their clobber, obviously there's certain regulations put out by the ACU and they're adopted. I mean, there's different sports within motorcycling, and obviously they don't allow road racers to go out on a Fireblade with a t-shirt and flip-flops, although you do see people riding those type of bikes on the road like that, which I cannot understand the mentality of going down the highway and not properly dressed. But obviously crash helmet, and they should be ACU stamped, approved, and the secret about crash helmets is you don't keep them too long. Because they do deteriorate, and I didn't realise this until quite a few. I mean, they go brittle, some of them. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and obviously the strap harnesses inside can rust away, etc., over a period of time. So it's always good to get a new crash helmet every couple of years. I think in France, if your helmet's over something like 4 years old, they won't let you ride. They recommend that you wear gloves, but not all riders wear gloves. That's a sort of personal preference. But as for the actual top and bottom, trousers and jackets, that's up to yourself to decide what you're actually going to buy. Pair of leather boots protects the ankles. You'd be mad to ride them in shoes, to ride with shoes, and that's basically it. But the machine itself is governed by FIM rules, and that drops down to the more domestic governing bodies such as the ACU. Right, so you've got ACU, what's that stand for? Autocycle Union. And the other one is just FIM? FIM, Federation International Motorcyclist, which is the governing body for the world. Right. So each country has its own governing body or bodies, and certain ones are actually affiliated directly to the FIM. This event, the Scottish 6 Days, used to be classed as a full international event with an international jury, and that had to go under FIM rules originally, some years ago, and then they dropped that and it became a kind of quasi-international event because obviously there's riders come from all over the world to compete here. But it's all down to, at the end of the day, bottom line is insurance. Yeah.
you know, and insurability. In the same way that the bikes have to be insured for the public highway.
That's checked as well, I'm assuming, when they register.
Well, it's the rider's responsibility, like in any sport that uses the public highway, it's the rider's responsibility to ensure that the bike complies with the Road Traffic Acts and has third-party insurance cover at all times. And there's additional, what was developed through rallying, because obviously rallies that take place in the public highway, they have to have rally driver insurance, and that was developed from that, and that was brought into the Scottish 6 Days round about the year 2000, 2002, originally with the officials, but then it actually dropped down onto the riders to obtain this additional third-party cover, because you're competing, and a lot of the policies, if you look at the policies that you ride your road bike with, it stipulates no competition use. So you cannot say you're not competing when you're on the public highway, because it's all part of the one event. And the only way to get around that would have been perhaps to sign the riders off at the side of the road when they come off the moor and then sign them back on, which would be an administrative nightmare. It just would take too long. So you cover them for third-party risks, which is obviously very important. It's part of the Road Traffic Act, and these bikes have to be insured, or the riders have got to be insured to ride the machines on the public highway.
There you go, keeping up to date and informed is what we do here at Nevis Radio. You want to get in contact with us, Si? What are the ways to do that?
WhatsApp's your best option, 01397 706 100. You can WhatsApp us there, any notes or voice notes if you wish. You can also phone the studio, 01397 706 100, the exact same number. You can email us at studio@nevisradio.co.uk, or you can get us at Nevis Radio Official on Facebook, or you can use the chat on YouTube as well, which is also Nevis Radio Official, and look for a live feed. With that, it is live. I don't actually have that chat signed in here because, to be honest, I can't remember the password. But Fiona's saying also you need goggles.
You can do what?
Goggles. You need goggles as well, don't you? You're talking about clothing?
So, yeah, for riding on the road. Well, it's advisable because it keeps bugs and stuff out of your eyes, and it's nothing worse than being hit square on the eyeball by a bumblebee, you know, which has happened in the past. So you'll see the riders going down the road and they will have goggles on. It's very advisable to wear eye protection when you're riding a motorcycle, be it in competition or on the road. I mean, the road bike riders tend to use full face helmets with visors, and I noticed Stephen's got a new helmet this year. He tends to change his helmet pretty regularly. In fact, I don't think he's used the same helmet twice. And he's got a crash helmet, which is an LS2 brand this year, and he's got a system where it's just a little corner of the peak. You just flick it down and it brings a visor down from inside the helmet, which is quite handy. I think one of the Hebo brands had that as well some years ago as well. I think I've got one in the house. It's Montesa branded on the outside. And I noticed when he was riding on the road yesterday, I followed him up the road and he overtook me to get in front. And as he went past, he looked up at the van and I went, oh, he's got one of these visor things. So quite handy then.
Yeah, that
saves you
good.
having goggles on top, and of course they can fly off if you're on the moor. This just flicks down for the road, dead handy.
Very good indeed. I'll tell you, we're going to have a look at that route. While we're doing that, I'm going to get Dan to message you a tune he'd like played, which we'll take up to the news then at some point.
Yeah, okay.
If that works. But so we'll have a look at the route now, if that's okay, Mr. Moffat.
Yeah, fine and dandy, yeah. Oh, we're doing it now. Sorry, I thought there was a jingle coming.
No, we're doing that.
Tuesday the 7th of May, 2014 Scottish 6 Days Trial. First group is out at Witch's Burn, an old favourite. That's the one that they remodelled it. They put a new bridge in there and it changed it, so it creates a little sort of arena for people to sit and watch the riders. That's the first group of the day. It's just a single sub, Witch's Burn. It's been in the trial since the early 1980s. Hard to believe that Twin Shocks used to go up this spectacular waterfall. And then over to non-spectator friendly areas. That's Group B at Glen Malley. The next one is Group C, 3 sections at Upper Unchen. First riders there at 10. Group D, 2 sections at Lower Unchen. That seems to be spectator available. 10:35. Then it's out to the fuel and rest stop for 15 minutes, and then over onto Conaglen Estate, which is Loch Shiel A and Loch Shiel B. They're out of bounds for spectators. First riders at Loch Shiel B by 11 this morning. That'll be rider number 50, I would imagine. And then over to the 3 subs on Group G, which is Bellsgrove. First rider there at midday. And then 3 sections at Group H at Achnalee. First rider there at 12:30, and 2 sections at Inversanda at 12:50. Final sections of the day, 3 sections at Group J, which is 1:20. Now, obviously, a few folk have been sort of mentioning to me, what's the score this year with the numbers of sections? They're asking, what was it before? I'm sure there was a set number of sections per day, and it used to be 30 sections a day, but it seems to be rising and falling this week, which is a change from the norm. I've got my sort of doubts about that, because obviously if you've got an early number and it's a day where there's like 21 sections, as opposed to some of the other riders would go out early and they've got maybe 28 sections. I think it used to be standardised at 30, so every rider was doing the same number of sections per day. Obviously, each section can have a maximum of 5 marks. So I don't know about the fairness of that when you've got a big event like this and it's spread over 6 days when it's not actually uniform. And the Saturday, of course, is a bit shorter. And this goes back now to taking it back to the era of 1968, because in 1969, the then clerk of the course, George Baird, went on film and was quoted as saying that the riders had asked for 6 days of a trial. Now that, remember, was in the days where they used to ride back to Edinburgh on the Saturday. And on the Saturday in 1969, George Baird, the long-departed George Baird, gave them 6 days because he put adequate numbers of sections in. And that year in 1969, Pipeline was the decider for the winner that year, and the winner was Bill Wilkinson on a Greaves, the last British rider to win the Scottish 6 days in a British-built machine, and he pipped Sammy Miller into 3rd place and Mick Andrews into 2nd place, I think it was. So it's quite interesting the way they've rearranged the number of sections is one thing, and also shortening the Saturday, although they say that it's going to be fairly tough. It won't be an easy ride out, but yeah, I think it's to get everybody finished early. Do I like it? Not quite sure. I'll have to wait and see how it all pans out by the 6th day and see how it actually goes and how it transfigures itself into the results at the end of the day. So something new, and I think it's good to have something new each year if that can be possibly done. But is it a step too far? We'll have to wait and see.
Who knows? Who knows these things?
Who knows?
Is there anybody you can have a quick chat with before we go to the news?
Oh, don't say that. We've got 30 seconds.
We'll come back. I'll tell you, we'll come back. We'll line a few people up.
You told me to pick a tune.
Yeah,
well,
that's fine.
Dan
We'll do that for Dan.
Yeah.
And how are we doing for times? You need to do that now?
You got like 20 seconds, you see. That's what I said. Don't do that.
Coming up at 8:30, we'll have some local news. 8:45, David Sedgwick with Thought for the Day, and we'll be back here with more information, keeping you entertained and informed, like we'd love to do here on Nevis Radio, your community station, live and exclusive from Parc, Ferme.
And you'll be having a chat with some folk after the news, I believe, yes?
Yep, that's the plan.
Wicked. Right, we're back.
By the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle. They all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
To move, so I make it harder. Think about it, so many people do be cool and look smart. The world time has come to.
For the players.
You will never be stuck for things to do and places to see throughout Lochaber. Experience the abundance of history, immerse yourself in a movie scene, walk within our great outdoors and see our wildlife running free. Rain or shine, there is always something to do. Get out and enjoy all the incredible things we have to offer right here in Lochaber.
Cause you woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make it harder. Hold back. Think about it, so many people do be cool and look smooth. The world time has come to.
From lodges by the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle, they all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
Indeed, indeed. I've got my headphones all wrapped around my neck and I could not sort them out. Right, we are back, day 2, Scottish 6-stage trial. Parc Ferme, we are based here for a whole week.
That's right to the Saturday, where we'll be on air for 5 or 6 hours, I reckon.
I'm John Weller, you're John Moffat.
I am.
Simon Abley back at the studio, Dan McLeod in the van.
Technical Dan.
And shortly we'll be joined by David, who'll be taking a bit of camera operation.
Good.
Which makes my life a bit easier, because I'm trying to do a few bits and pieces, just sort of change angles and make it a bit more exciting on the old YouTube and TV.
Multitasking.
Well, we kind of figured when you're going to go out and have a wee chat with some folk, John, we'll wire up the wireless thing and send you on your way.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Sort of follow a bit. We're sort of restricted on length of cables at the moment. But we did a bit of a breakthrough yesterday, because you mentioned we can get us on Sky Q, and you can. You can indeed. You have to go on their radio players on there, and then get Nevis Radio on your Sky TV as well. And Radio Play is actually quite a good app. You get it on all your various platforms and that. It's solid, it's a nice quality, and it works.
And most importantly, it's free.
And it's free, as is all the viewing. No charges here whatsoever.
Or sign-ups for that matter. You don't need to sign up anything.
You don't. And that was really down to our sponsors, Michelin Tyres, Trials Magazine, Thistle Access, Comms West, and Nevis Bakery at the moment have given us some shortbread, which we'll be giving out to some of the riders very, very shortly. If there's any left after Dan's had his fingers in them.
Can I just say about the shortbread, right? It got dropped off yesterday,
Yep.
and I was very excited about that, as I'm sure everyone else is down there. I left it alone. I didn't even have a cheeky packet.
I was going to say, I thought you'd left the packet back at the studio.
I was tempted, but I was good, you see.
I was going
Right.
to say, not like you, Mr.
So
Aberley.
Dan's on his second packet now. He's doing really well.
Exactly. I've been good. I just want that noted in this feed
His
so I
third
can go
packet,
back
sorry.
and watch it.
I just got 3 fingers out the back of the trailer. That wasn't being nasty. Yes, that's where we're at. No, so we'll be trying to catch up with a few people very, very shortly. There's quite a lot of people. Anybody out there you want to grab while the sun's shining?
Me? Yes,
yeah,
I
I'll
certainly
keep it,
do.
as long as you're close to us here, this end will be quite. I know Emma's out there.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I was going to try and do, and try and catch
Right,
Emma,
we're all
but
moving, which
I
isn't
don't
good for the
see her at
camera, but we'll
moment.
do this unison.
She's not actually here at the moment. She disappeared, but we'll catch somebody else. Multiple trials, Scottish trials champion Gavin Johnson, who's ridden the trial more times than I'd care to remember. Gavin, you're riding round with a young lad this week. Who is that?
That's my lad, Alex. It's his first time here, so a bit of a special week. My 32nd time. So we went round yesterday, okay, quite happy with that. So let's see how we go today.
You must be pushing on a bit now, Gavin. Is it coming close to your 60th, is it?
But it doesn't matter how old I am, John, you're older.
That's right, that's very true.
I'm 60 next month, which kind of makes it a special year really. So yeah, we did a bit of training to get ready for it, so we're feeling good. So let's just see how the rest of the week goes. Bit of luck is always good to have, but yeah, look forward to the rest of the week. Yeah.
And you're still working for a living?
I'm not retired yet.
No.
Are you?
Yes.
Nice one. You're winning in life. No, we're still working. Still fairly busy. Got a fair bit on. Probably too much, to be honest with you. But life's good, really. Can't complain.
Can't complain at all. And is Alex enjoying himself riding round with you?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday he had a couple of falls, but it's a big trial, isn't it? Big sections. He's not ridden a bike for a long time, so considering all of that, he did well yesterday. And as the day was going on, he was getting a bit more confident. So I think he'll be riding better today.
As we've said many times together, Gavin, it's all down to experience with the Scottish 6 days, isn't it?
Yes, that helps a lot. Even just going across the hills. He said to me last night, he says, why are you taking so many different lines? This is because we don't want to go in the bogs.
That's right, absolutely true. Well, anyway, have a good day today, and good luck to Alex as well.
Thanks very much, John. Cheers. Hopefully see you at the end of the week.
So do I, yeah. That's right, I'm older than everybody, as Gavin's just confirmed. Robert James, member of Inverness and District Motorcycle Club, but also a member of the Richmond Motor Club Limited. How are you enjoying it this week so far?
So far, so good. A few aches and pains. Both knees are gone, the shoulder's gone, but yeah, all good so far. Loving it.
You're a Yorkshireman living in Scotland, that right?
That's right, yeah. Full on the what they call it now. I don't know, but an honorary Scotsman they class me as, I think. So
That's right. But you work offshore, I believe.
Well, now in the office, but I spent most of my career offshore, yeah, on my professional career. Now in the office supporting a company out in Azerbaijan for BP, so yeah, working hard, it's good.
So you're looking forward to today's run. The weather's quite good today at the moment.
It's looking good. Bit of a breeze, keep the bugs down, and hopefully the sun might come out later on.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much.
Cheers, John. Thank you.
That's Robert James from Richmond in North Yorkshire, but living now in the north of Scotland. So it's some good fun. So we were hoping to have a quick word with multiple. Oh, there she is. I'll give her a quick. I've just noticed she's here, just before she goes. Now, Emma, how many Women World Championship titles have you got under your belt now? Because I can never remember. Is it 9?
Yeah, it's 9.
Yeah, I guessed well. So you're looking forward to your Scottish 6 days, day 2. How many Scottishes now? Because you started when you were 17.
Yeah, every year since I was 17, so missed 2 for COVID, and yeah, all finishes as well, which is fantastic. I think this will be my 15th.
I think you're right. And now you're a brand ambassador and member of the Sherco importation team, aren't you?
Yeah, we're working for the Sherco factory now, so just trying to help everyone this week, involved with everything in Sherco in the UK. So yeah, we've got a lot on our plate. We're very busy, but no, it's nice this week to help Harry. He's Harry Turner is his first time, so. Yeah, just trying to enjoy the week, and the sun's out, so that makes a change.
Just notice you're shielding your eyes against the sun. So anyway, have a good day today, Emma. Just thought we'd catch you before you go. We'll maybe have a longer chat about Sherco involvement later on this week.
Yeah, cool. Look forward to seeing everyone out there.
Okay, thanks. Emma Bristow, 9 times World Women's Trials Champion there, riding the factory Sherco and now heavily involved with Sherco motorcycles herself, along with her husband James Fry, who's just getting ready to go as well. I think he's number 95 or 96, is he? Yeah, 96, also on the Sherco 300. James has been riding the Sherco for many, many years now, and a fairly competent rider himself.
All happening, all happening. So I just had to move again, so I'm all over the place.
You certainly are.
Multitasking. I do my best. 9 minutes past 8 o'clock. You are listening to Nevis Radio, live and exclusive from the Scottish 6-stage trial each and every weekday morning, right through to 11 on the Saturday till about 12, half 12 to the very last rider leaves. Parc Ferme.
That's right, and it's all to go at play for today. Obviously, there's been some changes at the top. Do you want me to go through some of the scores then, just now? Would that be appropriate?
I'll tell you, we can do the weather first. We'll get that out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
And
Good
then
idea.
maybe a quick tune, Si, would that work for you?
Yeah, we can do, yeah. Also, quite
scores.
apt, actually. I got a message here from Brendan saying good luck to all the Richmond Motor Club riders, which obviously you were speaking to one of a moment ago.
Was that Brendan Suffle?
That's the one. I like how you know these people, and I give you like one name. It's mental.
We've just found we've got actually one of the riders that's staying with Mrs. W right now. I'm trying to think his name's Ethan. Hang on, wrong number.
I saw it, John, I know him.
Hang on, we're working on this. I don't know, 265. Number 265. It's actually a rider here staying with us at the moment, which we didn't realise, so that's quite cool. We knew somebody was involved with it, we thought they spectated, he's actually taking part.
John, I know him. You'll know his shoe size and everything. What tune are we having?
Oh, you can choose one.
Oh, I can choose one.
Yep, your turn.
Okay, right. That means I need to actually think about something other than listen. I tell you what, I'm going to play this because I can't quite get my head round it. If I can find it.
That's Kylie, isn't it? You're to play some Kylie.
You've got a tune on here that I played the other day.
Yep.
It's a country tune.
Yep.
And that one, yeah.
Not the Dolly Parton one.
No.
No.
Shabuzi.
Oh, Shabuzi, that's number 1 on the album charts. It's number 1 on the singles charts. It's number 1 on the American country charts. It's everywhere.
Right. So I don't know much about country, as you know, and obviously you've got Beyonce coming from R&B hip hop, swapping into country. So now you've got country people doing hip hop.
Well, I think it's a hip hop person doing country.
Is it?
I believe so. He's quite a bad boy in the music scene. He's his other songs have rude words in it, shall we say?
Right, because it is a classic hip hop tune. But anyway, it caught me out of it. It's like, what's that? So yeah, I'll play that. But anyway,
it's caught everybody out. It's done really, really well. We got tipped off a couple of weeks ago, which was quite good. So we got it on there. We were playing it as a country tune. Then I say all of a sudden it's gone into the UK singles charts and right across the world now.
Ah, fun times. Anyway, right, we'll get some weather on the go, and then we can have a wee listen to some Shabuzi.
Shabuzi.
Today's weather on Nevis Radio, brought to you by Thistle Access.
Basically cloudy and bit of drizzle and everything coming across Loch Harbour this morning, but elsewhere there's going to be variable amounts of cloud with some sunshine. Getting up to 14 degrees centigrade, 57 Fahrenheit, and this evening's going to be dry some late sunshine in the north and the west. The rest of the night's going to have various bits of cloud and a maybe possible drizzle, dropping down to 7 degrees centigrade, 45 Fahrenheit.
That was today's weather on Nevis Radio, brought to you...
For the players.
You will never be stuck for things to do and places to see throughout Loch Harbour. Experience the abundance of history, immerse yourself in a movie scene, walk within our great outdoors and see our wildlife running free. Rain or shine, there is always something to do. Get out and enjoy all the incredible things we have to offer right here in Loch Harbour.
Cause you woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make it harder. Hold back. Think about it, so many people do be cool and look smooth. The world time has come to.
move slightly. There's a boat just coming to the shore. It's got a ramp on the front. There's a dog at the top of the ramp. And yeah, it's quite interesting. The dog has gone mad. We should have brought the camera with us. Dan's up there trying to get it sorted out there now. I don't know what it's doing, but it's literally just come into the beach. You haven't got your microphone, have you? No. Yes, we don't often move out this far.
No, it's quite intriguing. There's a Labrador type dog, and it's running right up to the top of the ramp. It's like a little roll-on, roll-off car ferry for one vehicle. So it looks like he's actually going to drop the ramp down. There it goes, and the dog is up on the top of the ramp as it's in command and in charge of operations. It's running backwards and forwards now.
Nothing to do with 6 days biking at all, but it's good fun.
No, it's been an ex-Highland Ferries boat, the Renfrew Rose, by the looks of things. So it's actually dropping the ramp down onto the shingle beach just at the back of the last row of the bikes. So I haven't seen this before. I haven't come across this before. So I don't know what the operation is. They must be going to be taking something on board, but I don't know what.
Oh, who knows? Who knows? Well, here we go. Right. You should be getting us back at the studio now, I understand. We've got cameraman Dan. He's with us.
I figured he was up to something. There we go.
Yeah,
That's
we were
working.
waiting for this. So literally, we thought this is going to hit the corner of the jetty, and then it's gone right around the corner. And let's say it's the old dog on the front of it made us laugh, because he was right up on the very front when the ramp was high. So you never know what's going to happen here, do you?
No. Although the camera's try to reconnect.
It does that now and again. It
Yeah.
does that now and again. You don't need us. Just look at boats.
For anyone watching and going, what's going on? This is new technology to us. We've played with it, we've dabbled with it, but this is the first time we've actually had it out in the field doing stuff, so we're still kind of learning with it, so do bear with us on that.
And I've just noticed they're actually leaving from the ramp again, the starting ramp. They're doing that on day 2, which is very unusual.
Okay.
So Dan's probably pan round to that now. So we're now at the back. In fact, Dan can sort of show where we've normally been sitting, sort of where we're located in the West End car park. It's right at the very far end. The cabin, you can see that is Scottish 6 Days Child, brand new office, come meeting room, come hub, I guess. That's what they're doing now. And it's all gone a bit high tech. It's got a lot posher.
I think Dan might need to go a bit closer.
Yeah, he is. He's moving.
We've lost him.
I can see the legs in shorts moving.
Yeah, we've lost him.
Oh, I think he's dropped out altogether.
Yeah, it says please check video source. That came up on the YouTube last night as well. I wonder if it wasn't, and I realised it was just losing connection. So
yeah, it just drops out now and again.
But no, quite interesting that the sort of, is it a Labrador dog or a
I'd go
black
for that. Yes, that
retriever?
sort of,
It looked like
yes,
a
that
black
sort of breed,
retriever
I
sort of
guess.
thing, and it was standing right up the top of the ramp, sort of directing operations. The dog seemed to know what was happening
Well,
more than we did. But yeah, the Renfrew Rose or whatever it's called is sort of almost beached right up opposite the edge of the car park there, the Parc Ferme. So we all just wondered what was going on there.
Have you heard of the magical dog, John?
What's the magical dog?
Labracadabrador.
Oh, very good.
That's your joke for the day. He's mentioned retirement twice now. You've done your silly joke.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah. I had a dog yesterday, and I was in charge of a black Labrador yesterday. My son's got one, and it was its birthday. It was a year old yesterday, that dog.
Were you at his party? What was going on? Were you invited along?
No, there was no cake or anything. It had a little T-shirt sort of thing on it. It's my birthday, so that's how I realised it was a year old now. But it's a nice dog. I've never heard it bark. It doesn't growl at anybody. There's other dogs there, and it was wanting to meet them, but the other dogs were barking. But Lexi never opened her mouth. She just looked at everybody. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, while we're doing this, can we have a quick update on Jean? How nice this morning? How is she?
Seems to be okay.
Busy day yesterday out and about, I'm assuming.
Busy day yesterday. We had the Shop Mobility Lochaber scooter down at Lagnaha. Didn't go far off-road, but just up to the edge of the section, so she was able to see the action for quite a part of the day. It was a good day down there. She had something to eat down along with everybody else, Pauline Craik and others that were there. My son's partner, Lauren, was there with the two kids. Lucy May and Stevie. See, the dog's called Lexi.
Yep.
The granddaughter's called Lucy May, and she's called Lauren. So it all begins with L, right? So I get a bit confused. I shout at the granddaughter when I'm really shouting at the dog. It gets a bit busy. So yeah, we all had something to eat down at the Lagnaha Village Hall at Kentallon. Well, yeah, it'll be the Kentallon Village Hall
Yeah.
near Lagnaha. Sorry, got it the wrong way around.
I was looking at some of the sections up Lagnaha. That's quite steep, isn't it?
Yeah, they're quite difficult sections. They only had 3 there. I remember back in the day there was either 5 or 6 sections group at Lagnaha, so they've shortened that back as well. It used to be a very, very concentrated group of sections at Lagnaha. And as I say, I think there was up to about 6 at one time, and some really good old pictures you get from time to time on Facebook people have taken of the top riders back in the day, back in the 80s, when they were negotiating the last section, which was a bit of a steep climb up out of the burn, and that was them away back to Fort William. So yeah, a very famous trials group, that Lagnaha. The farm's called Lagnaha. It used to be a chap called a Mr. Jim Worthington was the farmer there, and they even had a midweek trial there. We were just talking about it yesterday. They had a midweek trial many years ago. In fact, we worked it out. It was around about 1996 to 1998, I think they run that event back in the days when one of the other tyre companies sponsored the Scottish 6 Days trial.
Other manufacturers are available, exactly. But we are sponsored by Michelin tyres.
That's right. I didn't mention the other one, did I?
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. That was very good.
But no, so Michelin tyres, thank you very much to them. Thank you very much to Trials Magazine. Thank you very much to Thistle Access, Comms West, Nevis Bakery, and anybody else who's helped us put this on today.
Yeah, we had yesterday. We had Michelin's representative Stuart Dozie.
I like Stuart.
Yeah, he's good fun, Stuart, and I think he's heading back today. I think.
Okay. Yeah,
so yeah, it was good, and we had the EM electric motion E-Pure racing bike and the TRRS RR 1RR bike in yesterday, just to compare the electric bikes with the normal internal combustion engine powered bikes, the 2-stroke, and that was good to have that. I think we're actually getting Gas, the 2025 version, if it's still here, the pre-production bike. Hopefully we'll get that along to the radio station here in the
apparently
Parc.
it's be coming along this week at some point. We've just got to liaise, I guess.
Yeah.
Liaise. How are we doing for time back there? Because I've got no time thing.
It's 8:22. We could doing some news in about 8 minutes or so.
Okay, we've got any tunes or ads to catch up on?
We've got 1 hour break this hour, so we can do that before the news if you like. And also, just to say, could we give a shout out to Kieran, Mark and Andy, who are observing at Bell's Grave today, and anyone from South West marshalling or riding teams.
Yeah, absolutely. A big shout out to all the observers, because they are. Yeah, nobody really realises what they're doing, but they're up before anybody else, really setting out the markers and everything else, aren't they?
Well, the markers are set out the day before. That's actually done by the course markers, but obviously observers have to get out to the sections, and if it's a far away group, then obviously they have to get up at the crack of dawn, because obviously it doesn't take the riders long to get around the course. And yeah, you can be talking about the route markers for the road going out at something like about, I think it used to be something like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then they're back for 8 o'clock or whatever, having tied in all, because they can't mark the road too early, and what they do is they pick up where the course markers on the hill bring it down to the main road, and then the route markers in the van put out all the direction arrows on the main beside the public highway, so they're out very early in the morning.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's all these little orange flags, as you're saying, and markers. They just mark the way the bike has to stay within these markers when they're going up the sections. Is that the way it works?
Yeah, that's right. The blues and the reds. Blues left, red right, I think it is, from my memory.
I think that's the same as slalom skiing. I know it's a random thing, but it sounds the same.
It is, yeah. And it's basically that's the section limits where you've got to keep the bike in between those two markers. But then there's also route marking across the hill, which is these orange flags that you see on canes. And obviously then onto the main road you've got lefts and rights and straight on. So straight on's white, blue is left, and red is right. So that's how they actually mark them on the road.
Right, yeah, a quick word with Dave Dignam before we do the news. We can do that. Dave's just turned up now. You having a quick word? You can.
We'll have to go into the station for that with the backdrop, so it looks a bit better. So Here we have the 2024 Scottish Six Days Clerk of the Course, local man David Dignan from Roy Bridge. You were interviewed yesterday, but I didn't hear it. I can't remember where it disappeared off to. But how's things going so far? Obviously, day one's under your belt now, so you've had the first day's results, and you're quite happy with the way it's been going this week?
Good morning, John.
Oh, good morning, David.
Come on,
yes.
Good morning. Yes, look, thank you for that. Yeah, you know, yesterday was good, but it always is when the sun is out. Plenty of time. So yeah, no, feedback is really good. We'd changed a bit yesterday with the sections, tried to keep them flowing. So that was a big result in there. So, and a big thanks to everybody for all their sensible parking and the various things like that. So yeah, it was a really good day. Went round into the Appin area, round into Kintallan. Yeah, it was all good news.
Okay. And now today, Tuesday tends to, or it has been in the past in history, a tight day for time. Is this year's Tuesday similar, or is that different? Because obviously there's different routes this year from last year and previous years. It's been changed a little bit. But historically, the Tuesday used to be, Monday was the break-in day, give them a bit of a, not so much an easy day, but the time allocation was fairly generous. I mean, a couple of riders came in yesterday with about an hour in hand, which they were quite happy with, and bikes into the Parc Ferme, not too much damage. But Tuesday tends to be a bit, or has tended to be a bit stiffer and a wee bit tighter in time. What's the rule for today, David? Because you'll know.
Yeah, well, there's no hard and fast rule, as we'll say, but yeah, you're right. Tuesday's slightly tight, not tighter on time. I wouldn't say that, but time is slightly lesser for the course. So therefore they should just keep themselves moving.
Yeah.
I don't like to kind of view any day of different. It's as much of and there the weather has a big part to play in it. But today is a bit of a split again, where in the morning we've got the moor section from Achnacarry right through to round into Uachen from there, and then we're down into Lochshiel round on there, and again care has got to be taken going round on Lochshiel from the slow signs, so that kind of stuff, 50 miles an hour or whatever. But yeah, look, and then we've got a new group of sections round at Carnach, so that might take a wee bit of slowing down. People obviously not familiar with the sections, so they're going to take a wee bit longer just to have a wee look and all that again. And again, I've split all the sections. They'll not see a lot of doubles today. Predominantly, it's single sections.
Yeah, and you obviously you're looking for a good flow to the trial itself, because you want people to enjoy their Scottish, obviously. At the top end, there's obviously a massive competitive edge, obviously, on the go. And but it's a wee bit, in some ways, difficult for spectators, because the Lochshiel A and B has historically not been available to spectators because of the layout and the requirements of the landowner. You've got to keep within those parameters, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, Lochshiel is just a non-public area anyway. That the access there is barriered off, so that's there's no access to the public, generally speaking, never mind to the trial. So today what you'll see is it's quite heavily to the afternoon from Bellsgrove round into Carnach, Inversander and Argour. Right. So, there's the majority of all the spectators will be heading for there, apart from Witchesburn this morning, which is just a kind of, straight out the bag.
Now that, you mentioned Inversander. Is it Inversander or Inversand? Because I always had it as Inversander back in my day when I rode, because there was
it's Inversander, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. We call it that or such, and wherever it's in the programme, it's ER actually, to be fair, on that. Yeah. And we would just call that section.
Yeah,
historical.
Because there used to be a lunch check at Inversanda at one time, apparently.
Well, again, the lunch stops vary depending on the day, and it's funny when you look at when I do the design of the course, you got to think of that as well, and you'll see some of these days the lunch stop, like this morning. It's not an easy one because it's now before. It's up at the head of Lochshiel. All right. So it's either there or down at Palloch, and that's too late, and maybe Lochshiel is the head is too early. Yeah. So you will see more traditional sort of. I'm not keeping to the lunch stop where it was. It's where it fits.
Yeah. And do you still see the benefit of the lunch stop? Because it allows riders to catch up, and it also it's a way also of controlling the trial, because if you needed to put a message out partway through the day, that would be the place to put the message up so riders see it. If put somebody out with a piece of card or whatever just to say, like, blah, blah, blah. It's quite a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah, lunch stop's got various, advantages. And last year I put a lunch stop on a Saturday, which was a full day, which went down very well. We never made it a full lunch stop, but that went down. So it shows the benefits of the nutritional side of things, and giving the guy, the competitors, that 10, 15 minutes just of a mouth break and let's go. But from a communication point of view, yes, there's another one, we know that we can put a message at that point halfway through the day or wherever that meets. So yeah, it meets both sides of it.
Just helps with the management of the trial from your point of view.
Absolutely.
Now, the other thing is that early on Monday, which was yesterday, Stuart Blythe was scanning the front number plates of the bikes. Is it an adapted mobile phone that they're using for that system? It's not something I'm au fait with, because I've never really seen it work.
Likewise.
Oh, is that right? It's a results team thing. Because obviously there's like a little chip, like a sticker on the back of the number, and that obviously picks up.
So this is an ECU system originally.
Is it?
Yeah. So that's where it was originally, like most of these systems. Fergus has taken it for ourselves and can adapted it, what we'll call the back end of it. So the front end of it is just a mobile device. What they see on the screen, Fergus has a new, developed that from last year to this year with bigger numbers, easier for the observers, that type of thing. He's taken the feedback. So the ECU, excuse me, I'm not familiar who's actually doing that for them.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but to be fair, but so that's just an evolution of that system, and so a lot of my times this year as well, like yesterday, we can then backtrack and actually see from that. But yes, so it's a chip at the back of the board.
And do you hire that system in each year, or do you keep a hold of it?
That's our own system.
Your own system.
Yeah. Right. So we've invested a lot of money in that, and Fergus looks after that side of it.
That's good.
Little baby.
Well, it's all moving forward in modern times. I mean, it used to be everything was written down. Even the scores used to be kept in a master score sheet, if you remember, back at the Milton Hotel, as it was called then, and it had to be written up by a team of people each night. Whereas now it's all presumably electronic.
Most of it's electronic. I mean, the Fergus and his team still checks over the score. There's still a lot of manual working involved in all that, but yeah, most of it's electronic. And I think as we move on, we've got that app, we've got the Sport Eddy app, which is a great communication tool, to get stuff out, and on there is all the score, so yeah. As you say, things move on, and we just have to go with it. But I think we still have our paper version on the other side of our office here for everybody to view. Yeah. Not everybody is au fait or whatever with the electronic stuff. So yeah, we have to cater for
me,
everybody.
I've only just started using a smartphone, very basically.
Ahead of most,
it's in my pocket right now. But actually, we were talking about it before. Is that it would be great if we could get in Nevis Radio some sort of thing that came into maybe John's tablet that he's got here. I think it's a tablet anyway. That would actually give us the scores on that rather than Kirsten giving us the paper, because when the wind gets up in the morning, the paper disappears.
Well, again,
the tablet doesn't.
I mean, I said decide, to go and speak to Fergus.
Aye, that's right.
In fairness, that's just a communication between these two guys, and try and link that up so you've got that to hand on there rather than your paper version.
So we're both admitting that we don't really know these things. It's not our scene.
Particularly.
You're the guy that looks at the sections and where you're going to go, and I'm the chap that talks about it. So, it's great if you can do these things, but being a bit advanced in age, it's sort of new for me,
I have my people. I mean, I do a lot of all the computer side of that with the designing and all that there. I'm not a social media person, as you probably know.
No.
That's not something I do. So hence, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as today goes, look, dry weather, we should be in for hopefully another really good day. As I say, the morning is well out of reach for the spectators, but the afternoon, But again, caution coming across the ferry, not for the ferry itself, but for the queue.
The queue, that's right.
Ferry's back on line again, so hopefully, you know, that shouldn't be too much of a problem, especially on their Gower side. So, yeah, please take care, you know, just parking sensible, because most of the afternoon's on the roadside.
Yeah.
That type of thing, you know. We've got the 3 police motorcycles out,
yeah,
you know.
down from Dingwall.
As I said at the, you know, the briefing there, they're here to assist and help us run the event, and that's what they're for.
Yeah.
They're not there to hinder us.
That's right. You just do what they ask you to do. I mean, I know a couple of years ago, or was it last year, I stopped at a section out near Pipersburn. It wasn't Pipersburn, I think it was Rushfin.
Oh, yeah.
And I was parked up for a while, and the guy came past, and I said, 5 minutes, you know, because I was waiting on my son coming through. He was a wee bit later than anticipated, and the chap came back and he said to me, look, you've had your 5 minutes. I went, right, I'll move the car. There was no question in it, because these guys are doing the job. They want the traffic to keep moving, because people are still doing their day-by-day work where we're on holiday. That's the difference, isn't it?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, you know, we talk about communication like that, the Loch Shield postie, you know, and I you know, keep in touch with her, and we're always in communication about today, especially with the bikes running down, and so look, it's really important for the day-to-day, you know, people of Le Havre, you know, they work around the trial, which is really accommodating.
It is.
And I know I'm a Le Havre person, and that, you know, as Angus MacDonald said, and you know, on the Sunday we welcome the trial every year, and it's still a good, you know, buzz to the whole place, regardless. I mean, we had the mountain bike here at the weekend. Not to be negative, but you would hardly know they were here.
Well, I was going to say that. I never noticed any difference in the town volume-wise, and I think because they're up at Anachmore, you don't see them.
Well, you don't see the spectacle. You know, you see the volume of people and you know, movement, but you don't have the spectacle of the Parc Ferme and the whole padding.
That's right.
You know, which is really good. So, but anyway, you know, as I say, look, do you keep everybody? I mean, the other message I would like to just put out today is for support vehicles and for accompanied motorcycles. Really, we've been sort of coming across 1 or 2 motorcycles kind of trying to get into areas where they shouldn't be, following the trial round. So, you know, it is a message really out to the trail bikes and to the newcomers, because we have over 80 newcomers again this year. So it's still, you know, it's a very proportion of they're new to the event. They're not familiar to the goings-on. So
the etiquette.
Etiquette, absolutely. So again, just a message to the followers on bikes. You know, you are not allowed you're not allowed to follow the trial off the tarred road as such. So please, you know, please take care of it.
We'll repeat that message ongoing as well for you, David, because it is very important. I mean, it's fine going round in the car on the public highway, but you're not allowed to go off-road. It is an illegal act, actually, to go off-road on a motorcycle unless you're actually part of an event that's permitted, blah, blah, blah. Right, so we will reiterate that message on your behalf. I think we've got to sort of move on a wee bit now. I'm getting the kind of wind up there.
You're having to move on.
I was going to say, busy morning.
Busy
morning. Always good to catch up with David in the morning, so I think it's very important. As the man who's in charge, Danny, that we get it from your mouth. I said that yesterday.
Well, I hate that word, in charge.
You are in charge.
It's I'm you know, I have a duty care to everybody to keep everybody for the event and all that. And as I say, we have a huge amount of team this year, during the week, helping us. So
no, absolutely. Well, back to you, so I think we've got a bit of catching up. You've got local news to do, and I gather David will be in the studio very soon. He's not there already.
He's outside, but I've got news to do, so we'll do news and then we'll get organised.
Perfect.
Okay.
From 96.6 to 102.4 FM, this is Nevis Radio News.
On Tuesday.
Cause you woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make it harder. Think about it, so many people do be cool, man, looks good. The world time has come to.
For the players.
You will never be stuck for things to do and places to see throughout Lochaber. Experience the abundance of history, immerse yourself in a movie scene, walk within our great outdoors and see our wildlife running free. Rain or shine, there is always something to do. Get out and enjoy all the incredible things we have to offer right here in Lochaber.
To move, so I make it harder. Don't hold back. Think about it, so many things do be cool and look smooth. The world time has come to.
From lodges by the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle, they all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
To move, so I make it harder. Think about it, so many things do be cool and look smooth. The world time has come to.
The tyre is such an important part of your bike. It's the only part which touches the ground. And when you get that perfect combination, it's hard to beat. The Michelin tyres have been perfect for me. I've been running the DH22 on the front and the DH34 on the back, and it's a really good combination between grip and rolling speed. It's hard to find a tyre which has both the grip and the durability and not wear out. It means less tyre changing, less putting air in your tyres, less putting tyre sealant in your tyres, and it's just easier for me as a professional. It just does what I want it to do. It's not doing anything funny, and they've been durable. I've ridden them on some really rough terrain and I haven't had any punctures yet, but to last long as well, it's ideal really.
Our mountains, glens and waterways are some of the best in Scotland, if not the world. Breathtaking views and awe-inspiring landscape, adventures for us all. Come and explore our water and mountains. It'll make you feel alive.
Exploring that you can hire.
Very good indeed. Very good morning, Mr. Sedgwick. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, John. Yeah, very good. Just had my swim, which has been great. Quite busy in the pool this morning, I suppose because I wasn't on yesterday, and it was nice to get 30 lengths out of the way.
Park at you, eh? Showing off. It's just showing off.
Not at all. It's great. It's a good social thing as well, actually. Get the crack with some of the other guys that are there, and it's been a really good thing after leaving work at the Belford.
Sounds like a social gathering to me.
Well, it is in the changing room, but not in the pool. Serious in the pool.
That sounded so wrong, David.
Serious in the pool.
That sounded so wrong.
All right.
Now you're the man, because you're a surgeon by profession.
Yeah.
They say that for rehabilitation of things like broken ankles, you should actually walk so many lengths of a swimming pool because it's non-weight bearing or something. Is that right?
You're absolutely right, John.
Aye.
About 6 years ago, I got a major nerve injury. It's a fractured ankle where I required 2 screws in it, and non-weight bearing for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But once I came out of the cast, that's the plaster cast after about 3 weeks, I was into a moon boot, and I used to use the crutches to go in, obviously non-weight bearing, take the moon boot off, and then just go and float around in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're better probably floating to begin with, because you will still put some weight through it.
Yeah.
If you're walking on it in there, but certainly floating around and swimming, good exercise. So when I came out of the cast at 8 weeks, I had full range of movements in my ankle.
Brilliant.
It was brilliant. So the senior management at home, you need to mention that to her and just say into the pool.
Right. Okay. I've not got a pool at my house, by the way.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm not planning building one either.
There'll be plans afoot.
We'll just have to look at the municipal one or whatever. There's a local school, I think, has a swimming pool, Culloden Academy. I think they've got a pool, so that would be quite handy.
I think the short of it, John, is holiday, big pool, you're getting the cocktails in, just let her have a wee chill out.
All right.
That's going to cost you money. You won't do that.
It's actually good value. Is the High Life Highland, and there are other swimming pools available, but it sort of is a.
Are you on commission? You don't pay.
We have that as well. We have High Life up in Inverness because it must be part of the Highland Council, is it?
It is, yeah. So you can use it. I mean, when I was doing locums in Wick, I was able to use my card from here. There as well. Yeah. No, it was great actually. So you can go and use it anywhere in the Highlands.
That's good, Dan.
It's very good indeed. Yeah.
Well, it's time for Thought of the Day. I'm going to hand over to you. I think we're going to get our brekkie ordering. It's getting that time of day for us up here. We've not had a cup of tea yet.
Yeah. Well, this was actually stimulated by something that John said yesterday about the pre-65. So I'm going to. Good morning, Simon, John, and all the listeners. It's great to be back with you again. This week, I'm sharing some thoughts on walks in the Bible. This story is relevant to an event at the Pre-65 trial on Saturday that John told us about yesterday. A man left Jerusalem to walk to Jericho, which was about 20 miles away through very isolated countryside, notorious for robbers. Unfortunately, he was attacked and badly injured, as well as having all his money and possessions stolen. He was left for dead on the roadside. A priest was making the journey a short time later and spotted the badly injured man, but he was in a hurry. He had an important service to run in the temple. He couldn't stop to help this man. Then a minister was making his way to Jerusalem. He saw and heard the injured man. He said to himself, I'm a busy person. I don't have time to stop to help this man. Anyway, I'm wearing my smart robes and I'll get blood and mud on them if I try to help him. Somebody else will look after him. After this, an immigrant man who'd been made to feel an outsider in the city came by. He felt sorry for the injured man. He stopped, gave him some water to drink and bathed his wounds. He took him to a guest house so that he could recover, and he gave the landlady enough to cover his bed and meals. He said he would be back to to see how he was getting on a week later and would settle up any further bills. Why did Jesus tell this story? Well, it was a lawyer who'd asked how he should be living. Jesus wants us to live in harmony and build a supportive community. He said the way to build this community is to get your vertical and your horizontal relationships right. That is, love God with all your being and love your neighbour as yourself. In this story, the most unlikely person turned out to be the good neighbour. In a Glasgow setting, it'd be the Rangers fan taking care of the injured Celtic fan, or the other way round. Or in the Middle East, the Palestinian looking after the injured Israeli, or vice versa. Or you coming across someone in need of help, such as happened at the weekend when that elderly man fell over and neither he nor his wife could get him to his feet. Many people passed him, but eventually someone took pity and helped him up. The way that God created our society was to have this concern for others and to show it in practical ways. The Killers have a song called Human, which has the line, are we human or are we dancer? Are we human? Are we here on earth to build a caring community built on the principles that God has set out? Or are we dancer? Are we here just to live for our own pleasures? It's your choice. Thank you for listening. Here's the Killers.
I did my
tyre is such an important part of your bike. It's the only part which touches the ground. And when you get that perfect combination, it's hard to beat. The Michelin tyres have been perfect for me. I've been running the DH22 on the front and the DH34 on the back, and it's a really good combination between grip and rolling speed. It's hard to find a tyre which has both the grip and the durability and not wear out. It means less tyre changing, less putting air in your tyres, less putting tyre sealant in your tyres, and it's just easier for me as a professional. It just does what I want it to do. It's not doing anything funny, and they've been durable. I've ridden them on some really rough terrain and I haven't had any punctures yet, but to last long as well, it's ideal really.
Our mountains, glens and waterways are some of the best in Scotland, if not the world. Breathtaking views and awe-inspiring landscape. adventures for us all. Come and explore our water and mountains. It'll make you feel alive.
Hands are blooming freeze at the moment, I've got to be honest. It's it's a great tune, that, David.
Absolutely love it. It's like Brandon Flowers writes some fantastic lyrics, actually.
Yeah, nice.
I remember seeing them at Tea in the Park, and also seeing him when he came on his own, actually, one time as well to sing there. He's a great performer.
No, absolutely. They say it's one of those tunes.
Yeah.
And you're impressed with that?
Very poignant.
Of the day, weren't you?
I was actually really impressed with the fact that you did pick up on the story, the thing we did yesterday, and it's very true. And the Killers, one of my wife's favourite bands.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, good.
So
I'm
many
really
boxes ticked this morning.
I know, fantastic.
Tick
Gosh,
box.
I've got loads of points, actually.
You've got many points. And you swim, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
So you're back with us. You're down here on Thursday, is that right?
Friday I'll be down. Be down on Friday. Yep. Might have some treats for you.
And
Never know.
cycling in.
Cycling in. Yeah.
We'll have the legs.
cycling.
We'll see the legs.
That's it.
Yeah,
The racing
absolutely.
snake.
After he's been for the swim, after he's cycled to the swim,
Yeah.
to here.
Yeah.
The racing snake, a.k.a. Mr. Sedgwick.
The racing snake?
Yeah.
Is that his new name?
Well, yeah, it is for me.
Brilliant. Very good.
Dear. We'll
Very
talk about
good.
it again next, tomorrow, David.
It was funny yesterday, actually. I was going back across the Lockey Bridge on my way back, having been in here, and this guy shouted out the window. It was Fergus Lamb. He's such a laugh, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Have you watched any of his videos? The Dudes of Hazard, him and Joe and others, Joe Barnes,
Oh, yeah.
and others have done. Absolutely wacky.
Oh, I must have a look for them.
You should. Dudes of Hazard.
I believe Joe Barnes is actually featured in the
Yes.
Outdoor Capital video we had yesterday,
He
Joe
is.
and Bo's Adventures.
Yep, it's brilliant, actually. It's a really good video, actually, is that one as well. I watched it yesterday. It was very good. But yeah, no, Fergus is riding, I think, this year.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. He was. Yeah.
There's a good site coming up Parc Ferme right now, teas and coffees. It's the first one of the day. Actually, I didn't even get a cup of tea this morning at home, so I don't know.
They're not,
Dehydrating, it's
they're
not
not
good.
our teas. No.
Well,
not our
if
teas,
that's the
no.
case, obviously we're running up to the news. Do you want me to play a tune and then come to you, come to you straight at the news? Just so you got a bit of time to actually use
Whichever
that?
works, whichever works. No, come as we normally do. We can sort of fit it in and, we'll get the weather done and maybe another tune then. We'll catch up with some more riders. It's quite good round the back. There's lots of stuff happening. We move to one side. There's quite a lot happening behind us. The lady with blonde hair, she is secretary of the Scottish Estates Trial. And in and out, flits in and out.
Busy
Always
person.
always
Busy person.
Yeah, so go to a tune. We'll come back with you after the 9 o'clock
I've got a minute 30. You're mad.
You've got what?
A minute 30.
Oh, the clock's around that way. Well, yeah, I'm mad. I think you're going to do a tune.
I have not got time for a tune now. You've left that far too late.
There's somebody with an L plate on the back of their pack. What's that mean? Is he a learner?
He's got a learner plate on because he's probably got a provisional licence. That's Jamie Galloway, World Championship runner at the moment, and TRRS rider, son of the Secretary of the Scottish 6 Days Trial, Kirsten Pennycook's son.
I did not know that.
Jamie Galloway, yeah.
Oh, look at him posing for a picture. Doesn't work on the radio, but that's what they're doing. If you're watching us on YouTube and all the other platforms. And you want to get in contact with us, Si?
Yeah, you can WhatsApp the studio 01397 706 100. You can send us a wee text on that, or a voice note if you wish. You can also phone the studio, same number, 01397 706 100, or studio@nevisradio.co.uk if you're at work. Obviously, don't get caught emailing us. But you can also get us on Facebook at Nevis Radio Official, or if you do want to watch on YouTube, it's completely free, no details required. Just go to YouTube and type in Nevis Radio Live, and it should pop up, or just Nevis Radio. You should find us there.
And we are live and exclusive down here at Parc Ferme right through until 11 o'clock each and every weekday morning. The news is coming up very, very shortly, and we'll be back after the 9 o'clock news. Some more chats, some more interviews. We've got some, who we're chatting with? I've got somebody to chat to this morning, haven't we?
No, we're setting up for later this week.
Later.
The unofficial reporter of the Scottish 6 Days, Mark Coombs, is coming back to speak to us. We had him here last year.
And Steve Pete trying to catch up with us on
Steve Pete, hopefully we'll be getting, I think he's number 172.
From 96.6 to 102.4 FM, this
Rest
is
assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
So, thanks to our friends at the Great Glen Grub Hub.
That's the people, yes.
And Mr. Cairns for sponsoring it. Is that right?
Mr. Gavin Cairns is sponsoring the grub from the Great Glen Grub Hub.
Yes, our breakfast.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that very much. It's been seems to be quite a longish morning before I think to eat or drink, so there we go. Always good. 2 minutes past 9 o'clock, day 2. It's Tuesday, the 7th of May. And it's still fairly calm down. There's nobody running around and panicking.
No flap at all into the third hour of the day. So, yeah, it's all good so far. It says 12 degrees now, but it actually feels colder than it was when I first came here. I think it's because it's the wind chill factor, isn't it? The wind's got up a little bit. There's a bit of a breeze. The flags that they put up, these what do you call these things again? It's feather flags. Feather flags. They seem to be flapping away quite merrily now, which actually creates its own little bit of excitement when you see all the nationality flags up on the roadside here at the West End car park. So if you're holidaying in Lochaber at the moment, that's what's going on here. It's a Scottish 6 days reliability trial, and yeah, it's all happening here in Fort William.
There. And do we know how many nationalities are actually taking part?
No idea. I haven't calculated
Would
that
they know at the hub if we had to go and ask them, do you reckon, or something?
I don't know. I think you're more likely to ask our friend who's got to come in later this week, Mark Coombs, because he tends to analyse things to the nth degree. So if Mark's listening, he could maybe sort of work out how many nationalities we have here, apart from the fact he's already analysed out who's had wins, who's been second, who's been third, all that sort of technical stuff that I don't really do. So we'll be having a word with him probably on Thursday, and also on Thursday we'll be speaking with Bernie Schreiber from Zurich, so that'll be quite exciting.
And John Humes, it's going to be a busy Thursday.
He's got a bit of busy day.
Thursday's going to be busy. That's the way it works sometimes. Back in the studio, anything exciting to report?
I missed an email about 20 minutes ago, but I've just got it here to say, can we say good luck to Yeadon Guisley? There we go, and Carlos Casas, and also a shout out to Mark Kemp and Fiona Kemp for observing, and that's from Wendy Harrison.
There you are.
Oh dear. Just got somebody slowed the roof, their soft top down, so they're sort of going to pose around the car park now. And I said it's too cold for that, but the wind's going to be in the hair, shall we say. Look at her go.
Probably got heat sheet on.
Hat on, there we go. Says it all.
That's odd. Using a convertible on a day like this.
Oh dear, yeah.
Well, that's keen.
That's just posing.
I think that's getting the use out of a convertible car, that we don't get the roof down much in a rag top. There we go.
Thelma and Louise have just left the car.
Thelma and Louise. Oh, that's right. Well, that's their names now. Is that Thelma or that Louise?
Yeah, I don't know. So you never know what's happening here. It's been a bit exciting. We've had a boat coming for no reason. It's just sitting there right now.
Yeah, it's moored
Must be a reason.
Of the car park. Yeah.
Moored. Well, we're going to have a cup of tea very shortly. I'll tell you what, we do that weather now. We'll come back, have a look at the results. We haven't done that. We've only done that once.
No,
so
we haven't. Yeah.
We'll do that again. And maybe a tune. And I fancy some Joe Bonamassa.
Right. Well, I'm going to type in Joe because
Bonamassa.
It's going to be quicker than typing the rest of that in.
Joe B. I think it's called Time or Clocks. I can't remember what the actual track's called.
You can't remember the name of the track?
I think it's Time.
Right, Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah.
I've not got anything written down with his name with the word time on it.
Right, what you got?
Royalty.
No.
Didn't think she'd do it.
No.
Notches.
I quite like Notches.
Heart Never Waits.
Oh, Heart Never Waits. Go for Heart Never Waits. That's a good one. Yeah, bit of bluesy music on a Tuesday morning.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right. So remind me, what we doing here?
Weather.
Yeah.
Ads, tune, or tune and ads, whichever way
we'll
you
do.
want to
Tune and ads.
Then we'll come back and we'll have a look at the results.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Right, what do I need to press now? Honestly, there's too many things going on.
Today's weather on Nevis Radio, brought to you by Thistle Access.
Cloudy with drizzle, basically. We will become dry, and there's a bit of sunshine right now down at Parc Ferme. Dry elsewhere with variable amounts of cloud and some sunshine. Maximum high today of 14 degrees centigrade, 57 Fahrenheit. This evening is going to be dry with some late sunshine, especially across the north and the west. Rest of the night, dry again with some cloud, dropping down to 7 degrees centigrade, 45 Fahrenheit.
That was today's weather.
tyre is such an important part of your bike. It's the only part which touches the ground. And when you get that perfect combination, it's hard to beat. The Michelin tyres have been perfect for me. I've been running the DH22 on the front and the DH34 on the back, and it's a really good combination between grip and rolling speed. It's hard to find a tyre which has both the grip and the durability and not wear out. It means less tyre changing, less putting air in your tyres, less putting tyre sealant in your tyres, and it's just easier for me as a professional. It just does what I want it to do. It's not doing anything funny, and they've been durable. I've ridden them on some really rough terrain and I haven't had any punctures yet, but to last long as well, it's ideal really.
Our mountains, glens and waterways are some of the best in Scotland, if not the world. Breathtaking views and awe-inspiring landscape, adventures for us all. Come and explore our water and mountains. It will make you feel alive.
You woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make it harder. Back, think about it, so maybe you can do be cool and look smarter. The world time has come to.
From lodges by the river, barges on the canal, or even a luxury castle, they all share the common theme of being surrounded by stunning views and incredible scenery here in Lochaber. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep you safe during your stay. We can't wait to welcome you.
The Scottish 6 days trial. Riders are leaving at their minute intervals on a irregular basis, using the ramp again. I say that's quite unusual.
Yeah, that's right. And I just had a wee bit of a coughing fit there, so I thought I'd better clear it out before I started talking. Yeah, day 2, it sort of ramps up a wee bit. We had David Dignan in. He's not given too much away, but generally speaking, Tuesday usually is a little bit neat on time, let's say. Time is at a premium and you can't sort of hang about. So it's just that the Monday they normally just sort of run the guys in, give them a fairly generous time allowance. One or two of them I was speaking to yesterday, they're coming in with an hour in hand, which is great. But I don't think they'll have that benefit today somehow. But as I say, it'll be interesting to see how the day pans out with the sections they're using for the second day of the Scottish 6 Days Trial 2024.
Do they get like a time penalty? Is it so many points per, I don't know, 10 minutes, or how does it sort of work?
If you're late, it's a mark a minute, up to an hour, and if you're over an hour...
That's quite severe.
Yeah, and if you're over an hour late, you're excluded.
Right.
So that's why a lot of riders try to make up time. So if they have something like a puncture, they've got time enough to fix it. So yesterday, Stephen Moffat, rider number 7, when he came into Lagna High, said that he had actually punctured, so he had to use the tubeless tyre repair kit to stick a thing into the sidewall, which was badly gashed. And what we did was we picked up another couple of new tyres yesterday. I came into the Parc Ferme, went into one of the dealers and purchased a couple of rear tyres just to keep us fresh. And then he took the spare wheel in and replaced that for the wheel he'd been using all day, and that was taken up after the bike was booked in. So it's got its spare on. It's actually got a spare on right now. So what he's got to do is come in with yesterday's wheel with a brand new tyre again, and then that tyre, which was only a day old but then damaged, that'll just be used for practice and won't be used in the public highway again. So that's what we'll have to do. So it just gives you a wee bit more time if you've got a bit of an allowance there, so you're not late, so you've got time to put something into the tyre to repair it. So yeah, that's how it works.
And with the tyres, I mean, can you I mean, obviously the factories probably use a machine, like you see at a normal tyre changing station. But they can be done manually with like tyre levers and that sort of stuff, can they?
Yeah, we've got a thing called a bead breaker that we bought from Trials Enduro Direct, part of the John Shirt empire some time ago. Great little tool, fits in through where the spindle goes, and a little clamp that comes down, and when you let the air out, it breaks the bead.
Yep.
You take that tool off and then use tyre levers, pull the tyre off the rim, and then new tyre, you soap it up generously, put it on one bead, put it on the other bead, soap it up again, and put in it's like a rubber ring.
Yep.
You put in, and then you blow it up, and then that rubber ring then leaves the tyre and pops the bead back on. It goes on with quite a bang.
Yeah.
So we've got a compressor in the van and a long extension lead that we can use at the house, and pop that in and just fire up the compressor up to full pressure, and then blow the bead back on the rim, and that's the job done.
There's no limit in the number of tyres they can have on it?
No, you can have as many as you like. In fact, we'll probably use 3 tyres this week.
Yeah, already.
Bit of a question for you, John. On off-road cars and like off-roaders themselves, I know you can get things that go on your wheels to sort of protect the beads, to make sure the wheel doesn't come off the rim. Is there anything like that for bikes, especially like that go off-road like this?
I don't know. I've never really come across them. We just put the tyre on and it actually beads itself. It's a tubeless rim, so it's designed to take a tubeless tyre. And it's just the profile of it, and obviously the air pressure keeps the bead on the rim, and they're quite tight. They're quite tight fitting. The tube type tyres are a little bit different. They've got a different profile because you put a tube inside it, a bladder in effect, which you insert the air under high pressure, and that tube pushes the tyre out. No, the just like the car tyres, they are tubeless tyres, so there's no tube inside, and it's the air pressure inside pushes the walls of the tyre out, so that you get the tyre fits up nice, so you can use it on the public highway. So, but they do use quite low pressures on these, and sometimes if the pressure goes too low, there's a danger that the tyre could pop off the rim, and that's a bit of a nuisance. especially out in the hill. So no, we don't use anything on the rim itself. It's just the rim and the tyre rim itself that keeps it all together.
Back in the late 70s, I know one of my bikes, I put this green fluid in.
Yeah.
Which when you got a punch,
Slime.
it sort of expanded. Slime was how it's called. It just ran around as a liquid and it got touched air.
That's right. We used to use that, but a lot of the riders, if you ask them, have you had a puncture? Well, I don't know because it self-seals.
Yeah.
But it makes quite a mess of the valve, core and everything, and it does go off after a while, so you've got to change it and take the tube out and replace it. But that doesn't work with a tubeless tyre. No. It tends to work better with a tube-type tyre.
Yes.
Yeah. And then these tyres do get hot. I mean, they heat up on the road, and it's not unheard of for a front tyre to give way, which has got a tube in it, just because of if it's a worn Scottish, like 2017, there's one or two of them had front wheel punctures, not because they hit rocks, it's just the tube went off, and that was it. So you have to keep your eye on that as well.
Exactly. It's interesting. What's the average price of a tyre now for any brand?
Well, the retail price of the Michelin that we bought yesterday was £137.50.
A tyre?
And we bought two of them, but we got a discount off that, being a competitor buying it, so it was a little bit less than that.
Okay, that's right, but more than I was expecting, double what I was expecting.
I normally I used to buy tyres in sixes, 6 rears, because if the boys were doing the Scottish, I would always put a couple of tyres aside for the 6 days, because you will use them. It's not as if they go off. I know that if you spoke to Stuart Dozie would say that tyres have a shelf life.
Yeah.
But we're doing the 6 days. If you bought 6 tyres, 6 rear tyres, and maybe 4 fronts to do a couple of bikes, then you will use them. They don't go to waste that easy, unless you keep them maybe 10 years or something, and they're past the sale-by date, because all these tyres are coded with the date of manufacture. So a good tyre guy could just look at the code and say, well, that tyre's 20-year-old or whatever, and you're taking a bit of a risk with that.
I remember getting called out once. I was bought a brand new set of tyres. They've never been on the road, but they were 10 years old, someone had them in their garage.
Yeah.
And I went to the garage and they said, these tyres aren't really safe.
Yeah,
so they're brand new. Said, they're brand new, but they're actually 10 years old.
They're unused, but they're old stock, and the thing is that they do go hard.
Yeah, they do. That's what this guy said.
In fact, up with us, if you leave a bike for a long time, especially a road bike, and you don't use it for a few years, they actually turn a dark, almost a navy blue sheen on them.
Hue, don't they?
Yeah, hue gets on them. I don't know what it is, whether it's something to do with the air or sunlight or whatever, but they do go blue on the bit that's been touching the road, which is weird. But no, you will use a couple of tyres. Some guys say, "Oh, I don't spend that kind of money on it." Well, it's just nice. I mean, yesterday I said to Stephen, "What's on your spare?" "Oh, it's a used tyre that's got a plug in it." I said, "Well, why haven't you put a new tyre on it?" "Oh, was it?" I said, "No, you put a new tyre on it. You got to have new stuff to start off with the Scottish 6 days. Give it a good go." Yeah. Because you might not do it next year. You've got to keep these things right, and if it was my bike, I would have said no, new everywhere. New front tyre, spare front tyre to go with it.
Just psychologically, it makes you feel better, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do that when I did the Scottish, because I had no money. I was a student, so I was broke. So it was down to my dad, and I think I changed one tyre in the week, and that was it. I didn't repair a puncture, but I did go and change a rear tyre. But unfortunately at the time, the bike was quite old. It was a 6-year-old bike when I did the trial. And when I was putting the torque arm bolt back together on the bike, the actual bolt snapped in the hub. So basically, that was what was that?
I'm going to have a talk with one of the fanatics. I don't want to cut you off there, but as they're there.
Yeah, so things can go wrong, when you're changing stuff just because of age, and that's what it's about with tyres. I was actually going to do the results.
I know you were. Sorry, I just saw it there.
I don't know. The problem is they're Spanish. Okay. I don't know if they speak.
No, and you can do Spanish. Hello.
I don't know.
No, I mean, we can compare the bikes.
We could actually move the camera on to see these bikes.
That's what we're doing right now.
They are the 305 Fantech. Are we on it now?
It's just the difference in the
I'll go across and have a look at them anyway, because I don't know. They are Spanish lads, and sometimes you get caught out because they don't. Oh no, well, one of them does speak English. I know this guy. Have you got me here?
Yeah, we got you.
Rider 174, Hug Almany. You're riding a 305 Fantic. Very unusual, early air-cooled monoshock. How did you enjoy it?
Well, it was a great experience. We were a little careful about not heating up the bike too much, but putting the starter on the road really makes the bike go okay, and we've been impressed about how fast the bike can be on the road. So for the moment, no problems. We'll see about today.
And why are you riding the Fantics in a team this year?
Well, we decided to do the Fantic 6 days on the Fantic a long time ago. Remember, 10 years ago, the three of us came and ride together, and we stopped the parade. And Asier, he proposed his wife on the parade. Yeah. We went to the wedding, and on the wedding, after a couple of glasses of wine, we said we have to go back to 6 days on Fantic, and then we ended up looking for a charity reason to do it. So my dad had prostate cancer last year, and also a good friend, Robin Luscombe. So we joined Robin Luscombe's giving page for the prostate cancer. So we're trying to finish for a cause.
Good, brilliant. So anyway, enjoy your ride at the Scottish 6 Days Hug.
Thank you very much for your time.
No bother, thank you. When he said that he put the starter on, that wasn't an electronic starter. He meant his choke. So he was riding on the road with the choke down, so that it gives more rich mixture to the engine, less chance of a seizure. So that's what he was meaning when he said he put the starter on.
I thought you got digital.
No, that's right.
Oh,
so it's a choke. So yeah, I did actually. When I realised it was Hug, I know that he speaks perfect English. So yeah, interesting that. And the bikes are dating back to the 1990s, early 1990s. These bikes, the 305 Fantic.
They still look cool.
Yeah, they were a bike to have in the day. I mean, I think a lot of people, obviously, a lot of the clubmen were riding the Yamaha TY250R at that period, but also equally as good was the Fantic, the 205 and the 305 versions. Obviously, now what's happening in the air-cooled monoshocks, they're actually using 305 and later engines in earlier frames, right? Just because of the fact that it's a more up-to-date engine, but they're all very similar. They're based on the Minarelli concept, but Fantic's own interpretation of that, and it was a very prominent bike in the day. And as we said earlier, when I was covering off the mood of the moment, if you like, 1984 Thierry Michaud rode for Fantic in World Trials, became world champion, and he won the Scottish 6 Days trial. I think it was either 3 or 4 times. 3 definitely. I'd have to look up my records on that. I can't keep remembering all these facts and figures. Very difficult.
The guru cannot remember.
Can't remember. I actually wrote it all down last year. I should have brought it back with me. It told me how many times. In fact, it's in the programme now. They've actually stolen my ideas, where they actually have put down how many wins each individual winner has done. And of course, the one who's got the highest number of wins is Dougie Lampin, of course, having had it 14 times. But
they've borrowed your ideas.
Borrowed my ideas. I thought of it first. I was the leading on that. So they've obviously looked at Trials Guru website, because it's on there anyway, in the SSDT Guru I've called it, which is a special page just purely for information on the Scottish 60 Days, dating way back to 1909. So it's good information. As I said yesterday, I've remodelled the Trials Guru web page. Less information on modern events, i.e. results and stuff. I've pulled away from that because there's other ventures that can cover that quite adequately, and it's more of the history and information on the sport as it's come through the years over the last, more than 100 years, obviously. So it's a place where people can, calling it the Trials Academy now. I actually thought about changing the name from Trials Gurus to Trials Academy, but there's so many ventures out there using Trials Academy as their name. I thought it might get a bit confusing. And
Guru, we know who the Guru is.
Well, it's not to make it commercial, you see. It's never been a commercial website. No money's taken, there's no subscription, it's free to use, and I aim to keep it that way.
Yeah, no, it's an information and fan site, really, and let's say a resource.
Yeah, well, that's basically what it is. There's another resource that Charlie DeMatheo, who is the results recorder for the World Championships, he's got a very, very useful website. The only difficulty with it. It's very difficult to navigate and find stuff. There's not an easy search
That's the
index
problem with a lot
on
of
it.
these sites. I just find, you get onto there, look, I want to find this, and then when what you do, it just doesn't come up with the bit you want.
Well, I have difficulty finding stuff on Charlie's site, but I must say that I've got to take my hat off to him, because the information on it is just mind-blowing. I mean, he's got information on people that he'd forgotten all about. And it's obviously been built up over the years.
You sort of find these people, and then when you want to find a bit more about them yourself, and you sort of start digging in other resources.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's to try and not make it all the same and not to copy anything. I mean, I like to be inventive and do my own thing. And it's very easy just to plagiarise things and steal ideas from other sites, which a lot of individuals do from time to time. But I think pulling it all together in one area is quite nice to do. But there was a guy who tried to get all the trials websites together, you know, from an ongoing point of view, because if people unfortunately die, that sometimes their website dies with them if the family don't keep it going, because there are obviously there's maintenance costs of these websites to keep them going. And a chap tried to get all the websites together, but nobody could agree, because they thought, you know, someone else has got to take over their website. So it always gets a bit sort of sort of compacted a little bit there. So I didn't subscribe to it, but I think the Trials Guru website is mentioned on what he does. I think it's it went under the name of Wiki Trials. I think that's wikitrials.org, and it links into all our websites, those that have put websites together on trial sport.
Very good, very good. You want to get in contact with us? All the contact details will be coming up on your screen very shortly. And Si, what are they?
Well, it's basically the same number for everything, just about. Studio, you can give us a call, 01397 706 100. You can also WhatsApp us on the exact same number, 01397 706 100. That's for text and voice notes. If you want to leave a wee voice note, we'll get you in the broadcast as well. That's what it's all about.
And wherever you're listening around the world, let us know. Let's see how far we can get this year. We did pretty well last year.
Indeed.
Give your country a name check, and maybe a picture of yourself sitting in the sun with a cocktail, whatever time it is where you are.
That's just going to depress everybody this end. But you can email us at studio@nevisradio.co.uk. You can get us on Nevis Radio Official on Facebook, and I say on YouTube, Nevis Radio Official there as well. Give it a wee like and a subscribe. And you too can watch our live footage as it happens, or indeed watch it at another time.
Challenge the guru as well. Give him a question.
Indeed.
We're going to challenge right now. We're going to go through the results, the day one results, and it's interesting at the top.
Yeah, we're talking about people phoning in and getting in touch. I mean, we usually get a wee message from Dennis Jones in Spain, and Lane Leavitt and Debbie Evans across in America, so hopefully they'll maybe be listening in this week. Results of the Scottish 6 Days Trial 2024. We'll have a wee look at the Scottish riders. It's in particular the local riders. At the very top at the moment is none other than previous podium placement guy, Mr. Gary McDonald, originally from Plymouth, now living up in Fort William. Gary's riding number 208. He's in the first position as far as the Scottish riders is concerned. He's in 4 marks lost. Jamie Galloway from Fife, he's riding number 141 on a 125 TRRS. He's in second place on 10 marks. Ben Dignan from Roybridge in 3rd position on the 4RT Monteza. He's on 11 marks lost, followed by another World Championship rider now, Duncan McCall from, I think it's Les Mahago in Lanarkshire. He's in 4th position on 16 marks lost. Malcolm Summers, who's in the army now, he's in 5th position on 19. Lewis Byron from Glasgow in 6th position, he's on 29. Callum Murphy from Ballachulish in 7th position on 36. Matthew Weir from Fort William in 8th position on 40. Then we have Gareth Palmer from Tayside. He's on 41 marks lost. Is that right? It's difficult to read these because it's my eyes go down to the next number. Or is he's on 52 marks lost. Apologies. In 10th position, Robbie Weir from Kinlochleven on 53. And in 11th position, fairly local man. We interviewed him earlier on, Gavin Johnson, multiple Scottish Trials champion. I think he won it about 8 times. He's in 11th position, and local lad Alan Ian McMaster in 12th position of the Scots on 55 marks lost. Then we come on to the main top end of the score sheet. If I can get it open at the right place. Here we go. Leading the trial at the moment, there's 4 leaders in effect, all in the same score. And that is Jack Price, former winner of the Scott Trial in Yorkshire. He's won it more than once. He's on 1 mark. Also is Jack Peace in 2nd position. In 3rd position, his brother Dan Peace, also on 1 mark. Then we have Ross Danby in 4th position, also on 1 mark lost. Then we drop down to 4 marks, so there's 3 mark gap there with Toby Martin in 5th position. Gary MacDonald overall is 6th and 4. Dougie Lampkin in 7th position. He's on 5 marks lost, as is Harry Hemingway, World Championship contender and also a World Champion last year, also on 5 marks lost. Alex Wigg, a former winner in 2011. Alex is in 9th position on 6 marks lost, and in 10th position, former winner, multiple winner of the Scottish 6 Days, James Dable in 10th position on 6 marks lost. There we have it.
The results. I was watching them. There's a weird machine he's using there to put grips on. I'm assuming it's like a twisty thing. That's right.
Yeah, that's a grip wire. It's now let me think. Now they use it for lock wire.
Okay.
If you want to lock wire a drain bolt into a sump.
So he's trying to tighten
that's
up the
what you use. It actually put a piece of stainless steel wire through that contraption, and you can actually pull it, and it actually twists the wire around, and then they just snip the end of it, and that way you can wire the grips onto the handlebars. It's Vince McIntosh that's doing the business there, number 191, I think it is.
Maybe.
Close enough. So, yeah. Do you want me to cover the story just now that we've been covering this week? Are you doing something else?
I've just seen on Sang on Scottish 6 Days Trial official site, this has been going for about last week, but they put a notice up this morning that there are a number of fake SSDT pages that have been set up. They are sharing photos, etc., without permission. They're also promoting live stream videos and asking for people's bank details. Please do not go onto any of these links. There is no live stream apart from the videos they put up on there and what we're doing at Nevis Radio. Both are totally free. And please note that the only official page we would appreciate if you could report and block any others you might see. So they've put other pages up there which are slightly spelt wrong or wrong terminology. But there's obviously somebody trying to hack into what the SSD.
Yeah, well, it's funny you should mention that because I mentioned this about a week ago.
Yeah.
I put it on my Facebook to say, be careful here. There's a couple of spoof Facebook pages, SSDT 2024, they seem to be using, and there was obvious spelling mistakes on it. But unfortunately, I think from a memory, the Secretary's own son seemed to befriend it.
Okay.
So obviously they thought it was maybe just somebody supporting the States trial. That obviously wasn't the case. I was on it very quickly, put a warning out, but to try and tell everybody, I had something like 700 mutual friends had actually signed up with this particular crowd, and I thought there's something going on here. And then one of my friends said, oh, by the way, they're also spoofing the pre-65 Scottish. So I think it's some kind of a phishing scam.
Yeah.
Now, as it turns out, where I used to work at Nature Scott, we used to have an online course just about every week on these phishing scams and things like that. We were being trained on it to look out for it, because obviously being a government department or a quasi-government department, you have to be very careful of that, because hackers have got into government websites and computer systems. It's very, very serious. It's also a crime. Yeah. And we were trained to look out for these sort of things. And I thought, whoa, hold on a minute. SSDT 2024, and it's a him. He's changed his his profile photo, and I goes, no. And then I looked at the spell and I went, well, there's a dead it. But the amount of people I'm friendly with that have been conned already
It's so easy to
into
just click it.
And I put it on my Facebook so that people would pick up on it and say, oh, John Moffat just put something on that. He's being serious here.
Yeah.
Unfriend them and block them straight away. I didn't block it because I wanted to see what was happening. Yeah. But I didn't accept the friend request because I don't do that automatically. Now I've learned in the past. And of course, what they do is they then pass your information on elsewhere. Yeah. And it's obviously now it's getting serious that they're looking for
bank details.
Yeah, bank details and stuff like that. So it's a definite phishing scam. So beware. So I would say to you all, if you're listening and you're friends of mine on Facebook, have a look at these SSDT 2024. Well, it's individual pages.
Yeah, they put a lot of states with
they're
low
not even
pages,
pages. They're just individual Facebook people. Yeah. There's obviously something behind it, and it could be criminality.
They've highlighted 10 here just to be aware of.
Well, there you go.
Basically, it's if you're asked for money, then SSDT are not charging for anything, and if you go onto Nevis Radio sites, we are not charging for anything either. Yeah. It's all totally free.
That's it. I mean, I think for any reputable media company to be charging for a service like that, it's kind of a bit of a slap in the face, really. But from our point of view, it's always going to be free. You don't need to enter any details. We don't even need your name. You just got to click a link and that's it, you're off.
Yeah, we actually fitted up a fake Facebook page on me a couple of years ago. I've got a fair idea who did it. They were trying to be smart, but it actually got about 50 people on it. So I started sending out personal messages and said, but by the way, I'm also on this under a different account. And I've seen what you've written about me, thanks very much. And there's some rather sheepish-looking faces, I can tell you, when I met them face-to-face. It's one thing going online and giving it large, thinking that people can't see it, clever, but when it becomes real, when I stand in front of you, it's a different matter, isn't it?
But then you just don't expect these things to crop up at a sporting event like this. It's getting obviously more widespread, and say people are after your information and more into pointing your bank details, and there's some way they can get into you. And it's I know it's easy to fall for. It's just so you just click. I know that person. I'm going to click that link, or I want to be involved in that. But you just have to do background checks now.
Well, I take the view if somebody went ding dong at your front door and you opened the door and it was a complete stranger who claimed to be John Moffat and it definitely wasn't him, would you let them in your house?
I wouldn't let you in if you came as John Moffat. I mean, come on.
That's right. So that's the way to look at it. It's quite a serious matter, and it's normally you do find at the end of the day there's some form of criminal behind it. So just beware. So it's nice to see that they've actually picked up on this now.
Yeah, no, that went on a couple of hours ago this morning. It was just flashed up on mine. I thought it's worth a mention because it's a serious thing and it affects everybody. That's the trouble. Right, I gather we've got a bit of catching up to do.
No, actually, after the last hour, I decided I'm going to get ahead of the game. So we're quite caught up, if I'm honest.
Oh, hark at you.
I know. See, organised.
I know it's a long ad break, the last one, so I knew what you'd done there, but I didn't know we've got anything else to catch up with. Have you got a tune request for David, cameraman David?
We do. We've got Gaslight Anthem coming up. Are we playing that now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, play that now. I'll come back, and John was asking me a question, which I cut him off, which I'm very sorry about that. He said, are we going to do this now?
All right. I guess the answer is...
Then we'll come back and we'll have a chat about John Smith, that's right.
Don Smith. Cool.
Don Smith.
To move, so I make it harder. Think about it, so we can do it cool and look smooth. The world time has come to.
Visit a Scottish region full of wonder, from stunning mountainous landscapes to deserted sandy beaches, relaxing woodland trails to heart-racing adventure, from historic treasures to the simplest of pleasures. The view from the top, the cleanest air, hidden places and wide open spaces. Unearth a breathtaking world right here in Lochaber.
You will never be stuck for things to do and places to see throughout Lochaber. Experience the abundance of history, immerse yourself in a movie scene, walk within our great outdoors and see our wildlife running free. Rain or shine, there is always something to do. Get out and enjoy all the incredible things we have to offer right here in Lochaber.
Visit a Scottish region full of wonder, from stunning mountainous landscapes to deserted sandy beaches.
Day 2, rather chilly, rather breezy, but you know what? It's not too bad. We've had a lot worse, haven't we?
Oh, much worse, but it's saying 13.6 degrees now.
It does.
But
It
it's
feels
the wind,
colder
it's
than
the
it was
wind.
when it was about 2 hours ago, I've got to be honest.
The airflow's keeping it cold.
We're
isn't
with
it?
you live until 11 o'clock this morning, each and every weekday. Your exclusive radio station.
It's like SSDT radio, powered by Nevis radio.
Powered by generator.
That's it. The very same.
Our sponsors, Michelin Tyres, Trials Magazine, Comms West, Thistle Access, the grub people down there, Gavin Cairns for the food. Was it the Great Glen
Grub Hub?
And have I missed anybody else? I'm sure I have. Biscuits.
Oh, Nevis Bakery.
Nevis Bakery, there you go.
Yeah.
And
We haven't handed any out yet, but I'm sure we'll be able to do that.
There's little fingers keep going in that box. It's like a feeding station.
It is indeed.
You meant to be dishing them out to the riders, not sitting there tanking them.
We're just tasting them, make sure they're okay. We don't want to sort of poison the rate. Yeah, we're not saying no.
They have been tested. Yeah,
no,
they
we've got
have
to
been
taste them, make sure
tested.
they're all right.
Yeah. Well, they had to be sampled.
Give some to the officials as well.
They've got their own little wagon round here with their own cooks. They're fine.
Anyway, I think we're going to cover another edition of an article, a big article I did back end of last year on a well-known rider back in the 60s and early 70s up here at the Scottish 6 Days Trial, and that's Don Smith. And I actually got his name slightly wrong yesterday. It's Donald Roland Smith, not Donald Ronald Smith. Sounds like a well-known cafe. Anyway, Don Smith started off as a Greaves Works rider, so we'll take the story a little bit further forward, and it's quite interesting. Don moved over from Greaves to the Spanish brand in 1968, being Monteza. They were looking for a development rider, and they wanted to move into the UK market, as it were, at that time, where obviously in the 1960s, the best trials riders in the world all emanated to the UK, believe it or not. Quite a lot of them were Yorkshire-based as well. And Don, being a southerner from Walthamstow, bit of a character, bit of a Jack the Lad, very much a promotions man. He was always happy to promote himself and his brands that he rode for. So he'd pushed the Greaves for years and years, and he went to Bert Greaves and said, look, the bikes are getting dated, the beam frame is going out of fashion, the aluminium beam frame is old hat. And Bert Greaves would have none of that talk at all, because he was a very straight-talking individual. He knew what he wanted his company to do, and he certainly wasn't going to take any lip from the likes of Don Smith, who he paid to ride his bikes. So Don persevered. He managed to use bikes with Cherry Annie front forks, Italian-made front forks, which modernised the bikes a little bit. But Don was getting complacent and he had itchy feet. So he sidled off and signed up with Monteza, Permanier SA, the company that made the brand. Now, Monteza was well into motocross and road racing, but they wanted into trials. And in 1967, their development rider at that time, who's been here, and I think he's still here at the Scottish 6 Days Trial, Pedro P. Now, some of our middle-aged riders now will remember Ott P, who predated Danny McCaskill at cycle riding. Ott P was a multiple world champion in cyclo-trials, and Pedro P at that time was employed by Monteza as the development rider. So he was developing the Monteza trial, which was a model that they planned to make available. There was only about 4 or 5 prototypes made, and Don Smith moved across to Monteza to help move that on. Initially, Pedro and Don didn't see eye to eye because there were 2 different characters, and of course there was the language difference, but Don persevered, and eventually everything sorted itself out, settled down, and Don was riding the Monteza and promoting it. But as his first ride in the UK, Don was very keen to promote this Kota 247 till its max. It was registered at UMV 10F, and he called it UMVF. And anyway, Don decided, right, got to have a win. First time out, got to have a win. So what did he do? Packed his bags, put the bike on the bike rack, travelled up to Fort William, stayed with his old friend Hugh MacDonald, who'd put him up for many years at the Scottish when he was riding the Greaves. And Don had a long chat with Hugh, and what they did was he entered for a local Lochaber trial. So the Monteza was brought up, fired up, Don rode the trial, won it. And of course it went into the papers. Monteza wins first time out. Wasn't a huge national win, but it didn't matter. A win's a win for all that. So Don did the business, brought the bike up to Fort William, stayed at Falcha, now known as Hunting Tower Lodge, which I see is up for sale at McPhee and Partners if you want to buy it. And that was it. Don used the old brain to try and get as much promotion for the Monteza as he could. And it was interesting because yesterday I actually bumped into Pedro P, or Pere P as he's known in Catalan, and his son Ott was with him. So we had a long chat, and we talked about some of the developments with the Monteza, with the early bikes, and Pedro was involved in that with Don Smith. And then they decided to create a team in the UK, so the importer for Monteza at that time was John Bryce's Montala Motors. His son was a great race car driver who was unfortunately killed in the accident that killed Graham Hill in the helicopter. And so Don was fronting the Monteza effort in the UK, but they took on Gordon Farley, also from Greaves, and Tony Davis from BSA and Greaves. They took him in to ride Monteza along with Lawrence Telling and Charlie Harris. So it was all getting nicely set up with Monteza until 1970. And Don was getting itchy feet again. He was getting complacent. They weren't listening to his development ideas at the factory at Pluges. And he decided that he wanted to leave Monteza, but he couldn't get out of his contract. And that's where the MacDonald family came in again, because Don actually built his own bike in 1970. He was entered in the 1970 trial. If you look at the old programme in that year, he was entered under Monteza motorcycles on a Monteza Kota 247. But he didn't turn up in Edinburgh with a Kota 247 at all. He came readied for the Scottish 6 Days trial with his own creation called the Don Smith Stag. And in my story I cover that in great detail, and believe it or not, that bike still exists. It's owned by a Mr. Mike Watts, a friend of mine down south, and he has the bike now that Don rode in the Scottish 6 Days. So it used a Monteza engine, but it was modified, and they'd taken the Monteza symbol off the crankcase covers. And we reckon now that it was actually Hugh MacDonald that financed a lot of that, because Don had obviously lost his job at Monteza, and that was the deal breaker, the contract breaking bike, because he wasn't allowed to ride another motorcycle in trials other than a Monteza. So what did Don do? He built his own, he rode that, the contract was null and void, and he was able to go somewhere else. The sad bit about it was it took 2 years before he actually picked up a Kawasaki contract, but we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Interesting story. I say you ruffled a few feathers along the way as well doing all this.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. You just, I'm going to do this. I don't care.
Yeah, Don was very much like that. His family will tell you that Don was a Marmite man. You either liked Don Smith or you loathed him. I liked him. I actually met him when he was down to weigh the bike in at Edinburgh in 1970, and I was still at school. That was the first year I really came to the Scottish for the Monday and the Friday. And of course, people were talking about the Stag. Have you seen Don Smith's bike? Oh my God, it's a Montesa engine, but it's in a nickel-plated frame, and it's got REH front hub and back hub, blah blah blah, metal profile forks. Whatever. No, I think it was REH forks. Anyway, looked at this bike, and I was standing looking at it, and I was comparing it with a Montesa that was sitting beside it. And Don's Ford, I think it was a Ford Zodiac he had at the time, an estate car. And I was looking at this bike, and I was thinking, my goodness, you know. And just at that, when I put my head up, I actually crouched down looking at it because I was really keen. Yeah. And I looked up, and there was Don Smith looking down at me, and he just smiled at me. But because I was a young lad, a boy at school, I just looked at him and I went, that's Don Smith. And I didn't speak to him. And yet, speaking to his family, he would have spoken to me quite easily. And years later, he was holding court in the Ben Nevis Hotel, and we did get to speak. And I did realise he was a very knowledgeable guy and very open. He would speak to anybody. And he had a very, very good way of dealing with people that he'd met before, but he couldn't remember their name. And every time he met you, he would put out his hand and say, how are you doing, Ace? Now that was because he couldn't remember your name, wasn't going to get embarrassed, wouldn't embarrass you, but you thought he remembered you and he called you Ace. And that was his sort of get-out clause that, oh gosh, I've met this fella before, can't remember his name. How are you doing, Ace? And of course he said it with a London accent. He put everybody at ease, a very open individual, but what a character. One of the characters of motorcycle trials and of the Scottish 6 Days Trial.
And there's a few of those. There's quite a lot of them around in the history of it.
Absolutely right. And Don is the one that we've sort of, you know, looked at a bit more closely this week, but obviously there are others available.
Yes, absolutely. We may follow them in future years, who knows?
You never know.
Because you're speaking to one of your heroes on Thursday. One person you look up to, Mr. Bernie Schreiber.
Yes, absolutely. I only got to know Bernie personally when I met him in Spain. I think it was 2007. I knew of him, of course. I mean, I actually spoke to him in 1977 when he did his first Scottish 6 Days. He was riding number 122 and I was riding number 216. And I did speak to him up at the old McRae and Dick petrol station, which is now outside the Black Isle Bar, is it? That's where they had a canopy, and he was working on his factory Bultaco there, and we sort of engaged him in conversation, but he was very short on words because he was concentrating on doing work to the bike. So I had met him in 1977, but I couldn't claim that I knew him in 1977. But we got together at Rob Rigordo in Madrid, and there's a nice wee story about that we'll tell you about later, that how I got to know him there. I actually got his bike washed. He was on a loan bike with the same owner that I was riding at the same time. So it was quite nice. And that's where we struck up a friendship.
I remember being starstruck once. My grandfather used to work for Texaco.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the heat oil thing was at Ardingly Showground. They had a big show every June. They still do. And they've got James Hunt there.
Oh, yeah.
Which I knew the name, and it was all. I think it was Marlborough was sponsor for all these.
That's right.
It was all big sponsorship.
Yeah.
And my granddad, we took us into this big old they got hospitality trailers.
That's right.
And it was so posh. And he let us go in there, and it was so cool. And he said, "Do you know?" My grandfather went, "Do you know James Hunt?" I said, "Well, sort of." He said, "Oh, he races cars for a living." I said, "Oh, interesting." Then James came in. He did like an entourage, and the girls were with him. Fantastic guy. I never really. I didn't know what to say to him. I had no idea what to say to him.
They used to say, never meet your heroes, but I dare say that in trials, I've met several of my heroes when I was a schoolboy, and they've all become personal friends.
Which is great.
Yeah. There's only one or two times I have met racing people, and I wasn't that impressed with them, but there you go.
It is News Radio. It's coming up to the news at 10. We'll be back for the final hour after this.
You will never be stuck for things to do and places to see throughout Lochaber. Experience the abundance of history, immerse yourself in a movie scene, walk within our great outdoors and see our wildlife running free. Rain or shine, there is always something to do. Get out and enjoy all the incredible things we have to offer right here in Lochaber.
Just reminiscing about people we chatted to last year and chatting about Mr. Cripps.
Yeah, Andy Cripps.
Andy Cripps.
I don't think he's up this year. I don't think he got a ride in the Scottish this year, but he's a bit of a character.
Yeah, we were just talking about swear words on live radio and stuff like that, and he managed to put one out on us last year.
And he didn't actually swear at all. Did you notice that? He kept away from it, but it's very difficult.
Yes, live radio, and you get the odd swear words, and every now and again you see somebody shouting across the fence to their mates and that, and you just have to be, if it does happen, it's sort of out with our control.
They were all waiting for it. They were all waiting on a gaff, but it didn't come. He managed to keep it going, but it was the way he used to...
He was so nervous doing it.
He was shaking the microphone about as if he was keeping a beat going or something. But yeah, I think it's still on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah.
All our stuff's on YouTube, John.
Well, that's right. People keep going back and looking at it.
Free of charge.
Yeah. I think we've got a reprise coming with this year because we hope to get Mark Coombs from the Isle of Wight back on because he's going round. Now, he is taking videos, but he's just putting it on his own Facebook. Yeah. He's not... I don't think he's purporting to be anybody else other than... Coombsy, so he's out and about, and he's got his See You Jimmy hat on at the moment.
He's down here earlier.
He was standing there taking pictures, and he's going around. He's taking. I think he's got to bring in Chris Stay, who's ridden the Scottish before, but he's having a bit of a difficult time health-wise at the moment, so he's unable to ride at the moment.
I'll catch up with him for sure.
He'll be coming in, I think, Thursday as well.
And the guy from Switzerland, Walter, what's his name, the chocolate book man?
He's not here.
Yeah, Walter Traber. I don't think he's here. Well, I haven't seen him because he normally, if he is here, he normally comes in to see us.
He's not. He's watching from home.
Is he? All right. Yeah. Oh, he's definitely at home in Switzerland then.
And the other person's the very tall Frenchman. Never remember his name. Terrible.
Tall Frenchman?
Yeah, tall Frenchman. I've not seen him this week. He'll come to me at some point.
Now you're putting me on the spot.
See?
Right, well, while you're thinking about that, I've got to say good morning to the crew down at An Cafe Mara. They got us on the TV down there. And also shout out to Table 2, enjoying their food.
What they got then? What's Table 2 got?
I'm not entirely sure, if I'm honest, but also, Rob's also mentioned down at An Cafe Mara, 10% discount for all riders and any support team down there for them today.
It's News Radio support team. Must be.
Where's that about? Is that in Fort
An Cafe Mara. It's over at Corpac at the new Telford Marina.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Do you know what? I've still never made it down there. I work out with their house right in the corner, but I've actually not been to go and see Rob in his cafe yet, so I've got to do that.
Does lovely food.
Sorry, Rob. Nothing personal. Like I've never been to the new cinema, I've never been to the new soap factory, I've never been to the any shops in town. I just don't get out.
You need to get out more.
Everybody says, have you been there? No. Been to the cinema yet? No. And how long has that been open? Never mind, that's the way it works.
I've been to the cinema.
Have you?
Aye.
Right, the one in town here?
Yeah.
What'd you see?
Can't remember, but we had a...
It was that memorable.
It was I know. It was a food deal. You know, you sort of had a meal.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
do that,
a film.
yeah.
Sure, that was what it was. But we were going to go in the other day, but it was a bit tight for space getting Jean in, so we abandoned that idea and went somewhere else.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Hopefully.
So it's 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes past 10. It's all went slow to start with. Now the time just run away.
The ultimate hour. The ultimate hour. Yeah.
We're up to a rider about 2:20ish now, I'm guessing, going out.
Yeah, we've got, I can see Jimmy McCann getting ready, 2:24. He shouldn't be far away.
Can we catch up with anybody? You got anybody have a quick chat with?
I could have a quick chat with... Oh, we're just missing Gary McDonald.
Yeah, Gary's been in. He's had his comfort break, shall we say?
Yeah, we've been on the news at that point. I'll just have a quick word with Jimmy. Riding again a Monteza Cota 4RT rep. So, Jimmy, you've ridden the Scottish 6 Days a few times. I think one year you actually had a go on a 4 ride, which is the trail version.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was a great week. That lots of fun.
Where are you from, Jimmy?
I'm from Lee, near Greater Manchester.
And what you do for a living?
I'm a fire engine mechanic.
There you go. You don't put fires out?
No, I don't get wet.
Excellent. So, what was yesterday like on the route?
Oh, it was nice yesterday. It was almost a sporting holiday.
Oh, there you go. And today will be a wee bit tighter for time, do you think?
I hope not.
So do I, but there we have it. So, just doing the tyre pressures at the moment?
Yeah, I'm going to the 5.5 again. Don't like them too soft around here in case you get a pinch flat on the tracks.
Absolutely right. So anyway, have a good day today, Jimmy.
Cheers, John.
That's Jimmy McCann. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm just picking up my sticker collection here.
You were always dealing in the car park.
No.
There's always something happening in this
deals.
car park. It was T-shirts yesterday.
Well, it is a deal. Actually, that's one of the sponsors of the Highland Classic, the Inverness and District Motorcycle Club trial, coming off on June the 8th and 9th at the Alvey Estate near Aviemore. And that's their official riders' stickers.
That's £200.
Is it?
That's another ad break, yeah.
What for? For our trial?
No, free plug, £200. There you go.
That's right, okay. Anyway, that's
He's glossing over that one, isn't he?
I'm just checking to see what we've got here. If that's just the stickers. We've actually got we've got another pack to come, I think, which will be we excuse me.
It's catching.
Yeah, we also use stickers on the back of the helmet, which, strangely enough, we used that idea from the Scottish. They did it a couple of years ago. They put the rider's number on the back of the helmet. And then Stephen decided he would go to a local firm and he got them done in a sort of a proper sticker as opposed to printed on these paper labels. Yeah. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, that's a good idea. And Gordon Murray put it forward at the committee meeting, as it turned out. So he saved me a lot of work. And he said, what about us doing that with the Highland Classic? So we're doing that. So Sean Radcliffe, who's riding there, has just handed me them. He's doing the stickers for the back of the helmets as well for this year. So it's just to keep, so that the observers can actually, when you ride away from the section, if they've missed their number, they get it on the back of the helmet.
Talking of things on helmets, John, there was a news story I read out last week before the UCI downhill took place. To do with a sensor that downhill bikers are now wearing on their helmets, which picks up general head movement for potential concussion. Is that something that might sort of be picked up in trials as well, maybe?
Oh, heavens. It seems to be at the moment that the whole of sports are sort of... it's become a kind of buzzword, concussion, all of a sudden. The last few years, all the sporting governing bodies have gone daft on concussion. Obviously, it's something that's been creeping in for years. Obviously, sports injuries, it's one of these things that can happen. Rugby players, football players, all can get it. It is very serious, obviously, but it seems to be the fruit of the month. You know, it's a flavour of the month. It's talked about all over the place. I don't know. I think we try to keep a low profile on these things because, generally speaking, it's not a contact type of sport, motorcycle trials, unless you contact with the ground. Simple as that. And
general riding's not going to do too much damage.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. But downhill...
All right, there.
Excuse me. No. Downhill, it's racing. This is not a race, and there is a difference. I've said that before. Enduro's racing, motocross is racing, downhill mountain biking is racing, and I think there's probably a higher risk of concussion at downhill MTB than in trials having concussion, really.
I'll tell you what, we're going to have to go for a break. We'll get you a drink of water or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Up. And if we can play maybe The Only Way's Up by Yaz.
We could do that. You need to do Weather yet, no?
Are we not done with it yet?
No.
Right, we'll do that now then.
Right, we can just hang on a minute because I'm typing, because I can't type and listen and press other buttons. But Only Way is Up.
Yeah, sang a bit. Woo, that's what we want.
Something about woo-woo, is it?
Why not?
Here you go.
So we'll get Mr. Moff
Today's weather on Nevis Radio, brought to you by Thistle Access.
Cloudy, possible drizzle, but becoming drier. Elsewhere, staying pretty good with a variable amounts of cloud and some sunshine. Your maximum high, 14 degrees centigrade, 57 Fahrenheit. Into this evening, it's going to be dry, some late sunshine, especially across the north and west. And the rest of the night, that variable amounts of cloud still there. Minimum overnight low, 7 degrees centigrade, 45 Fahrenheit. And a quick look at Wednesday. Dry in the morning with some hazy sunshine. Thickening cloud will bring rain to the west in the afternoon, but remaining largely dry elsewhere. Getting slightly warmer at 16 degrees centigrade, 61 Fahrenheit.
That was to
You will never be stuck for things to do and places to see throughout Lochaber. Experience the abundance of history, immerse yourself in a movie scene, walk within our great outdoors and see our wildlife running free. Rain or shine, there is always something to do. Get out and enjoy all the incredible things we have to offer right here in Lochaber.
Visit a Scottish region full of wonder, from stunning mountainous landscapes to deserted sandy beaches, relaxing woodland trails to heart-racing adventure, from historic treasures to the simplest of pleasures, the view from the top, the cleanest air, hidden places and wide open spaces, unearth a breathtaking world right here in Lochaber.
You will never be stuck for things to do and places to see throughout Lochaber. Experience the abundance of history, immerse yourself in a movie scene, walk within our great outdoors and see our wildlife running free. Rain or shine, there is always something to do. Get out and enjoy all the incredible things we have to offer right here in Lochaber.
initiative to move, so I make it harder. Hold back, think about it, so cool man looks smooth. The world time has come to. Cause you woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make it harder. Hold back, think about it, so cool man looks smooth. The world time has come to.
Visit a Scottish region full of wonder, from stunning mountainous landscapes to deserted sandy beaches, relaxing woodland trails to heart-racing adventure. From historic treasures to the simplest of pleasures, the view from the top, the cleanest air, hidden places and wide open spaces, unearth a breathtaking world right here in Lochaber.
We are down in Parc Ferme in West End car park, if you're wondering where that is. The sun is coming out, it's actually getting warmer.
Warmer, yep. 14 degrees it says there.
It is, it made a big difference.
That's balmy.
And there's quite a few people leaving at the moment. I know you want to go and chat with Rider 237, is that correct?
I'll try and get 237 if we can. Now then, Rider 237, Laia Sanz, good morning to you, Laia. You have made a name for yourself in trial, but also now in enduro and Dakar.
Yeah, I'm proud what I did during my career, and always looking for new challenges. Yeah. I start in trials and then I try in Dakar and enduro, and now I'm here just to have fun. And trial is my my beginning, so I like a lot when I have the chance to do something.
And how many times were you Women's World Trials Champion? How many times?
14.
14 times, which is a bit of a record.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's so good, and I came back like 3 years ago and I win it again, and I'm really proud about that. And yeah, just I have a lot of passion for what I do, and when I set a goal, I fight for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're riding the 2025 Gas?
Yeah, really excited. I'm enjoying a lot. I like the bike. It's just a bit strange, because it's never nice when you are in a complete new bike that it's not yours. Yeah. But yesterday, at the end of the day, I start to feel better. And yeah, the bike is super nice, easy, and really happy. And I'm thankful also with Gas to give me the chance to come here and compete again.
Super. It's nice to see you back as well, Laia.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's Laia Sanz riding the Gas, and it's the 2025 pre-production bike. This is the new model for next year, and Laia's debuting it here at the Scottish 6 Days Trial. And as you heard, she's 14 times Women's World Trials Champion, FIM World Trials Champion. And a wee bit of a thorn in the side for her Emma Bristow, of course, because Emma's won it 9 times. So she's got some real competition this week in the ladies' challenge here at the Scottish 6 Days Trial.
Which is really good. I mean, competition against anybody's good, so it's good to have high-class ladies in the sport.
Yeah. Is there someone else I could just grab before they disappear?
You do what you need to do, John. You're there.
We've got here, gentlemen, Mr. Sam Connor. Good morning, Sam. I think we'll be able to see you here along with Johnny Stammer. Now, you won the Scottish 6 Days Trial some years ago. Was it 2005?
Yeah, long time ago, isn't it?
It's a long time ago. And I think your winning bike has been up at the Scottish this week.
Yeah, James Fry kindly asked if they could use it. Just nice to sit out the garage, actually. Yeah. Dust sheet removed.
Well, that's it. And it's still got its welded-on sprocket.
Yeah, there's a lot of scars on that bike. But yeah, it's not really been ridden since, actually. Start it up every now and again just to make sure it's running. Yeah. But no, we want to keep it, as I finish the trial, so...
And you don't ride many trials now, do you?
Not as much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
But always this one though, John.
Yeah, this is the one for you, isn't it?
Yeah, we can't miss. Same with Johnny here. We always enjoy our trip to the Highlands, so yeah, it's good fun.
It's nice to see you here as well, Johnny. You were a schoolboy superstar, and then you disappeared for a few years.
Oh, that was many moons ago now, John. Yeah, I did it till I was early 20s, and then I don't know. You have to sort of get serious and try and get a proper job, don't you? Really? And went and did that. Went to the university thing, and then came back to it when the kids were young, just for a bit of a release, really. And been here ever since about 2015, I think. Just been loving the trial again, really. It's been fantastic.
Excellent. So when you have a good day, so your time's probably coming up soon, so nice to see you here again, Mr. Connor.
Thank you, John. Have a good day.
Yeah, and you too, Johnny.
Thanks very much, John. Take care.
Johnny Starmer and Sam Connor, previous winner of the Scottish 6 Days trial.
He is indeed. All of a sudden, it gets a lot of people in the area. You're trying to grab him now as well.
I will, but he's just nipping off to the loo.
The old comfort break before himself.
He's the well-known Mr. Carlos Casas. Would like to have a word with him because he's a great enthusiast of the Scottish 6 Days. I called him the ambassador to Spain and Catalonia of the Scottish 6 Days. So he's the SSDT ambassador. And I think actually someone else used that as well. They sort of cottoned on to that particular phrase. It was just a bit of fun, but it's actually true because the amount of Spanish and Catalan riders that Carlos has encouraged to come here, it's the sort of thing that he must tell young riders, oh no, you must go to Scotland, you must ride the Scottish 6 Days because that is the trial. And he's been doing it since 1979. I think he's just about ready to go, but we'll try and catch him. Carlos, hello, how are you? Nice to see you, my friend.
There was a hug then. There was always the hug.
Well, we're old friends. And I called him many years ago the SSDT ambassador to Spain and Catalonia. So that's what you do. You're an enthusiast of the trial, and you enthuse about it, and you encourage many young riders to come here.
Oh yes, of course, because all year at every event, at every trial, I try to persuade, I explain what does mean the Scottish 6 Days trial. Why is because the best trial in the world and why we love this trial.
Absolutely right. And your first year was 1979 in the Cota 348?
Yes, of course, 1979, Cota 348.
A long time ago. And yesterday I actually met Pedro P.
Yes, he was there with his son. Yeah. Incredible, good surprise.
Yeah, it was brilliant because he was Mr. Montesa in the early days.
Of course, he's like a legend in Spain also. That's right. So, that's right.
And that is a good description. He is a legend, and so is his son Ott, because he was pre-Danny McCaskill with the cyclo trial. He was cycle world champion, Trialson.
Yes, of course. He was the first man, I think, in the bicycle to make the bike trial. Yeah. And it's important for the family P, father and son, all involved in trials.
And of course, from the Trialson came Tony Bow.
Oh, yes, from the trail scene came Tony Bow, and you'll see what he's doing, Tony Bow.
Incredible.
It's incredible, yeah.
There we are. So you're looking forward to today's run on the Scottish 6 Days?
Of course, yes. I am enjoying, the weather is fantastic, so enjoying every minute of this event.
Brilliant. So thanks very much, Carlos, and maybe we'll speak to you later in the week.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Carlos. Take care. Carlos Casas there, a great enthusiast of the trial in general, and also the Scottish 6 Days, because he's made it his own trial. He comes every year and he's always welcome back. And as I say, he's brought heaps and heaps of Spanish and Catalan riders here to Fort William to ride in, which he describes as the greatest trial in the world. And the organisers appreciate all that Carlos does for the sport across in Spain. So it's great to have him here. And as I said, his first Scottish 6 Days trial was back in 1979 in a 348 Montesa Cota Malcolm Rathmell replica.
A lot of enthusiasm there, which is great for the sport. And he spreads it across the world. If they don't already know about it, they soon do.
Yeah, they certainly do. And it takes people like Carlos that have got the enthusiasm and the drive to keep the sport alive and keep riders keep them coming back.
Exactly. We need to look at the route very, very shortly. Have you got another tune you'd like to have played?
Yes, I do. How about one for my wife?
One for Jean would be marvellous.
One for Jean. I'm trying to think now.
I can't stand up for falling down.
Something by... Oh, I've forgotten the guy's name now.
Oh, which one?
Oh, damn it, it's gone out of my head. He's an English singer-songwriter, but he's got an Italian-sounding name.
Oh, matey.
Lewis Capaldi.
No.
Frankie Dettori.
No.
No.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah,
That's a
don't
horse
me either.
rider.
Every shout of their radios now. Do you read him? Yep. Really nice guy. Yeah, he will come back to it maybe.
That is terrible.
Yes, I've got the same. I know exactly who you're talking
I've gone
about.
brain fade completely.
Gino De Campo.
No, my sister was going to go and see him in Italy, funny enough, and then they just cancelled it. Yeah, I know the guy you mean.
He's so well known as
Yes.
well. All the ladies love this
Yes,
guy.
they do.
Michael Bublé.
Are you?
I'm just reading names out now.
He's just trying to find out which got a foreign sounding name.
It's not so good when your radio goes all fuzzy as well. Get people to phone in and tell us who we're thinking about.
Not Savosky. What's his name? Savaretti.
Who?
Was it Savaretti, is it? Savaretti.
That's it. That's the guy.
Yes.
Now you want me to spell it. That's the thing.
S-A-V, something or other.
Jack Savaretti.
Jack
Yes, that's the one. We got it in
Somebody with Jack Savaretti.
She likes him. Somebody.
Yeah.
I knew you meant.
Jack Savaretti. How could you forget that?
Yeah, easy.
Right. Okay, well, what
tune?
What tune?
I don't know anyone. Anyone by him.
Anyone by him?
Yeah.
Anything
by him.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably going to go wrong then. Anyway, right. Well, before we do that, I've got a bit of a question for you.
Yep.
Because Walter's been in touch from Switzerland. I would like to know, rider number 172, Steve Peat. Is that the same guy who's also the team manager of the Santa Cruz mountain bike downhill crew?
Steve Peat was the team manager for Santa Cruz, wasn't he?
Well, that's the question. That's what we're asking.
Is he or was he?
Was he? Yes, I think he was.
Right,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. He was the team manager for Santa Cruz downhill biking. But Steve does a lot of tours now, and I think it's something like Bikes and Beer, I think he called it. He did one up in Inverness, and I listened to him. It was very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. That answered that. Hopefully that helps you, Walter, with your queries.
On the spot. There you go.
That's what it's all about. Right, Jack Savaretti, I'm yours, lined up, ready to go.
Sounds good to me.
You will never be stuck for things to do and places to see throughout Lochaber. Experience the abundance of history, immerse yourself in a movie scene, walk within our great outdoors and see our wildlife running free. Rain or shine, there is always something to do. Get out and enjoy all the incredible things we have to offer right here in Lochaber.
I make it harder. Think about it, so we can do cool and look smarter.
Yes, I've got what number are we here? 248. Sandy Plenty of Sora UK. They produce riding gear for trials. So, Sandy, have you done the Scottish 6 days before?
No, I haven't. To be honest, John, this is the third year of riding trials full stop. I've always admired it from afar. Got a mountain biking background, but yeah, no, trials is something special. So I'm very much a newcomer.
Now, your business is Sora UK. It's a Spanish brand, but you're the UK importer, effectively. Tell us a little bit about what you do with the clothing.
Well, basically, as you said, I'm the importer, so I bring it in. I have a stock holding, quite a big one, actually, too big, so that I can post kit out very quickly to people in the UK. But the custom side of things, as you know yourself, is our strong arm, really. So yeah, we can make any kit, any colour, any design, and get it shipped to you within 4 weeks.
Great. Now, also, you've been involved in something we've been talking about over on the radio this week, Trial Tube. Tell us a little bit about your involvement with Trial Tube. It is online media. It's talking about trials.
Well, it's come from Danny Butler and Stu Day. I'm kind of like a guest presenter with them, and we sit down, and it's typically an hour long. It's filmed, so you can watch it on YouTube or you can listen to it on the usual podcast channels, and we just discuss various topics. So I am hoping there will be a Scottish 6-day debrief in the coming weeks. Yeah.
And that takes place, how often? Is it once a week or is it once a month?
So we try and put one out every fortnight, but what we will do is we'll go and bank a load of them. So we'll go and pre-record maybe 4 or 5 in one day. Because, you know, it takes a lot of time, as you know, to set equipment up and get ready to go. So we will go and we've all got day jobs, so we'll go and do 5 and then trickle them out.
And it covers quite a variety of subjects, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot of different subjects, things that are often quite, you know, in the minds of Stu Day and Danny Butler, things that they want to discuss. And then within each episode, there will be some general news and stuff. So yeah, there's lots of hot topics, lots of hot takes. Not everyone perhaps agrees with all of the opinions on the show, but they are people's opinions.
So you're looking forward to day 2 of the Scottish 6 days?
Yeah, well, when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty good, but 3 hours later, I'm getting a bit stiff, actually.
That can happen.
Yeah, well, you know yourself. Yeah. Have you ridden
I rode in 1977, and I was at university at the time. I couldn't ride it the next couple of years because of studies and then getting a day job in accountancy, which I didn't enjoy very much, and changed jobs. So by the time I had the cash to do it, I was getting a bit old in the tooth, long in the tooth, let's say, but I only did it once, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, now 77, so I was -1.
Yeah, well, there you go. So anyway, have a good day today, Sandy. Good to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's Sandy Plenty, importer of Sora apparel from Spain. He does do bespoke clothing, so if you wanted your logo on it, I've actually got some gear that I'm planning to use, which is branded with Trials Guru, obviously my website, and Sandy put that together for me, and he's also done a special Castrol Honda type livery on a set of clothing for my son Stephen to ride when he's riding his Honda Sealy. So it's something different. It's something that is very nice. It's sublimated type clothing, so it's very good. And talking about the Trials Tube with Danny Butler and Stu Day, which is quite a controversial thing. They're talking about topics of the day. And as I said, you don't have to agree with everything, but that's the way it goes. I mean, I was speaking to Ben Hemingway this morning at breakfast, and we're just talking about that sort of thing. That I said, oh yeah, I've been criticised about the fact that I'm not a great follower of the World Series. Yeah. It's not something I follow very closely. I mean, some people watch MotoGP very closely. They can tell you what all the lap times are, split times, all that. Very, very intense and very involved. I don't sort of follow the World Series because it doesn't interest me as much. But as I said, you know, I'm a trials enthusiast, I'm a supporter of trials, I have been all my life virtually, and it's a bit like music. I could say to you, oh yeah, I love music, but I don't like hip-hop, and I don't like this and I don't like that genre, but the fact is there's certain things I like about music. Doesn't mean to say I don't like music, but certain bits I'm not so keen on. But it's a case of, well, but don't criticise somebody that likes hip-hop or the stuff that maybe, say, Simon plays isn't my taste. It's all down to taste, and I prefer the grassroots type of trials in the UK. I've ridden abroad, I've ridden in Spain, and I'd like to have ridden in other countries as well, I suppose, but it's just all down to cost. But my main passion is obviously Scottish 6 days trial, because my first time at the Scottish that I was able to come up with my parents was 1970, which is 54 years ago. It's a long time ago, and I remember all the greats of that time. And you have to remember that back in the 70s, that's when the World Trials Championship was developed. It actually started in 1974 with a pan-European series, and it was Sid Lampkin that won the American round of that. And then the next year was the full FIM World Championship, which Martin Lampkin won on the Bultaco. And that was really my era. That's when I was really, really keen on riding every weekend. And I was following that all the way through with the help of then Motorcycle News. Trials and Motocross News didn't start till 1977. In fact, it was 2 weeks after, or a week after the Scottish had been run. They missed the Scottish by a week with their production. And yeah, I followed the World Series very, very closely back in the days when it was your Lampkins and Rathmolls and Edwardses and Vesterinen, and then subsequently Bernie Schreiber, because you had sort of like 40 or 50 riders, but it was more like a national trial, but it was a World Series. Now it's sort of, for me, it's kind of remote. It's elitism, and well, I'm more grassroots than elite. You know, I mean, it's got to happen, yes, absolutely right. And we've got some great riders from Scotland competing at world level now. I mean, Jamie Galloway, we heard about him yesterday when we were interviewing Steve Saunders, and you've got Duncan McCall, you've got Ben Dignan's taking part in all that. And yeah, there's some even, we've got Inverness lads are riding in the British championships. But do I follow it closely? No, I'm actually too busy to follow it, because I'm doing my own club, our own club up in Inverness, and we run 2 clubs out of 1 limited company, and I've got to make sure the accounts are right, that the inland revenue's informed, Companies House is informed. Have I got time to look at the World Series? No. And basically, if you said to me, who's running third, couldn't tell you. Who's winning it? Tony Bow. Why? Because he's won it for the last dumpty times. So it's horses for courses, it's what you like. But you can't really turn around. I mean, somebody said to me, oh, you want to ban the world. Who said that? I never said that. Ban it? Why would you want to ban it? No, it's just not my scene. And then there's stop and no stop. There's big arguments about that. And the Scottish ACU have now reintroduced for the Scottish Championship stop permitted. Well, we went no stop some years ago because the numbers taking part were going down. And I think the danger with stop permitted is 75% of Scottish riders can't do it. They're no use at it. And
explain what
that's
that
the
is.
danger.
People don't understand what you're talking about. Stops permitted.
Well, if you stop under the no-stop rules, TSR 22B, it is in the ACU handbook. That is when, if all forward motion ceases, the rider is 5 to section.
This is on a section.
This is on a section, and stop permitted is where, or they've put in the sort of caveats where you've got to have both hands in the handlebars, etc., and you can't go backwards or whatever. Now that is stop permitted, so the bike can actually stop and you can balance it and then get away again. Now, in the old-fashioned way, no stop, that would be a 5.
Right.
And you'll speak to people in their 50s now who started in TY80 Yamahas, and they say, well, stop permitted is a good excuse not to get a 5 in the section. And yet they're saying that it's easier to observe that type of rule. To me, it makes it harder for me, because when I used to say to guys when I was observing a lot, I said, right guys, I'm on this section. Oh, here we go again. I said, you can go through the section as slowly as you wish, but don't stop because I'll five you. And that's the same for everybody. And that's the way you've got to observe is consistency. Apply the rules properly and be consistent with it. And unfortunately, sometimes some observers feel overawed by top riders. They don't want to be the one that gives them a five, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, there's horses for courses. It's a matter of preference. You could argue all day about it. If you said to me, well, what do you prefer? I said, well, it's my type of riding. There's no stop. But then it came in, but it almost, fun enough, ruined the Scottish because the numbers fell so dramatically. It was in 1996, I think it was, that Willie Dallin was convinced by Peter Stewart of Hamilton Yamaha to reintroduce no stop to the Scottish. That stopped the riders coming in the dark, basically. It was a logistical nightmare for the 6 days. It wouldn't really work at the Scottish. But there again, Scottish ACU have decided at their committee level that they're going to they've brought back in stop permitted. So far, it seems to have worked. They've had one round. But you've got to educate the observers as well, and these people are getting harder to find.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's time.
I know older observers say, well, if you reintroduce stop permitted, I just won't go to the trials and observe. And when that starts happening, you've got a problem because you need the section staffed for a national trial. So it'll be interesting to see how this year, how it all pans out. So far, the reports back seem favourable. But I wasn't at the first round at Craiglash to see it for myself. I would have liked to have gone to watch it, but not to observe it, just to merely be an observer of the observers to see how it operated. But so far, all the reports I've heard have been positive so far.
Okay. Very good indeed. My goodness, where is that time going? Are we all caught up back there?
Yeah.
Yep, I think as we said, I think you just sent me a message. I think I ticked it. So, yep, that's fine. We probably need to have a look at that route one more time.
Okay.
For today. And trying to think where we're going to go next. Where do you want to go next?
Where do I go?
Where do you want to go next?
I'm not sure where I'm going to go next. It's getting close to the close down at 11 o'clock, isn't it?
Well, I think in terms of where you want to go, say have a look at the route, maybe give us a couple of ideas where people can go and have a wee watch today. We can maybe give a bit of a preview of what's coming up tomorrow.
Yep.
That might be quite handy.
I think that's a good idea. We've got a few people coming in tomorrow, I believe. Is that when the bike's coming, or have we not sorted that one out yet?
I need one of you to go and have a wee chat and go, can we do that? They're kind of primed and ready, but we just need to let them know when suits us.
Okay, because it would be nice to have a bike around here and just point at it anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, we want to get the 2025 gas here. That would be good.
I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
But it's all gone very quiet around us. Nobody's here. What's gone on? They've all run away on their bikes. But we will have a look at the route and a recap on the results, I guess. See who's going to be at top. Who do you think is going to be at the top tomorrow? Looking at that, though, that's the question. I don't know, because Doug is, the one I tipped is lower than your one.
Yeah, well, the guy I tipped for the top's lying quite far back at the moment. That was Billy Green. He's in 31st position.
Oh, so I'm doing better.
On 16 March. I mean, in 31st position on 16 March, you've not lost a lot of March, but it's pretty far down the field at that. But that's the Scottish 6 days for you, isn't it? There's a lot of people competing in this event, almost 300. So it will be interesting to see how these positions change.
Was it oversubscribed
tomorrow.
again? I'm assuming it was oversubscribed.
Yes, it was oversubscribed, yes. There was a reserve list. But of course, it's a strange thing when it comes to paying the money. Some people take fright, and I think it's been called bragging rights. Oh, I've entered the Scottish 6 days. Oh, that's interesting. Are you riding it? No, I just thought I'd put an entry in. And this is the big dilemma for the organisers, in that every year, you because it's about £700, £700 to enter the event, not including your accommodation, your bike, your kit, and all the rest of it. Some people, when they get to the point where it's time to pay up, they pull out, so therefore the reserve list is pulled into operation. Now, it's something that is very, very delicate. If you had, for example, 10 people to pull out, that's £7,000 of a difference. So you've got to keep your eye on that very, very closely. But no, I think lots of people have said to me in the past, well, why don't they take a deposit maybe say £100 or £150 up front. But if it's oversubscribed, you've got all these people sticking in £150, not get a ride, and then have to be refunded. So that becomes a bit of an administrative nightmare as well. When you take money off people, you've got to put it back to them. And of course, all these systems now that take money off you, the facilitators take a fee. So it's not £150 to the organisers, it's £150 less the fee, unless you do it by bank transfer, and then it all gets messy. You know, that's the thing.
It's something's got to do, but it's always trying to do it as easy as you can, but making it fair for everybody. I think that's a very fine balance sometimes.
It is actually a very, very, very fine balance. So do you want to make a cover of the route off again?
I think we'll do the route now. Thanks like a plan
for today's route, Tuesday.
Tuesday,
7th of May.
7th of May,
first section this morning down at Witch's Burn, an old favourite there. It's been going since the 1980s. I remember Twin Shock Bultacos firing up that waterfall, although the strata roundabout has changed a little bit because they had to put a new bridge in a few years ago. First rider was there at 8:10, some hours ago now. Then over to Glen Malley, 4 sections in Group B at 9 o'clock. First rider was there up at Uchen, 10 o'clock, and then Lower Unachen, which is actually available for the spectators, Group D. Then on to the fuel stop, rest stop, and it's up onto the first 3 subs at Loch Shiel A. First rider there at 11:10. Loch Shiel B, 11:20, 10 minutes later. Group F, 2 sections there. Bellsgrove in the afternoon, 12 o'clock, midday. 3 sections at Group G. And over to Group H, Achnalee, 12:30, the first rider will be there. And then Inversander, Group I, 2 sections, first rider there at 10 to 1. Followed by Group J, the last group of the day, 3 sections at Ardgour, first rider there at 13:20.
And while we're doing this, I was just going to look at a quick look at tomorrow so people can have an idea where they might like to go for the 8th. I've got it there if that helps you out.
It does, but unfortunately the radio feed I'm using now is completely gone. It's crackling to bits.
You just talk,
I have
just
to
talk,
turn
just talk.
to a certain angle to stop it hissing. Anyway, I'll try my best. Hold on a second. I'll just take my earplugs out. It's a lot easier. Wednesday the 8th of May. They're off up to Kinlochleven area where it's Callart. That's on the back road from Fort William to Kinlochleven in the old Mamor Road, Callart. Then down into 3 sections at Lower Mamor. Schoolhouse Falls, quite near the town, 2 sections there, and then Greymare's Tail, another further 2 sections there. So Greymare's Tail and Lower Mamor are accessible. Pipeline, of course, old favourite, first used in the late 1960s. Well, the middle to late 1960s. I think they actually worked out it was first used in 1964. Pipeline, it was the decider for the 1969 Scottish 6 Days. Then over to Lochield Moor, Lochield Cottage, Carnderg and Bradleg, all of which are non-accessible to the spectators. Then down at Achentee, which is the lower slopes of Ben Nevis, near the restaurant there, 2 sections at Achentee. Then up onto the Ben itself, 4 sections at Ben Nevis, then drop down into Glen Nevis, 2 sections. First rider there at the back, 1:30 tomorrow. That's the route for Wednesday, the 8th of May. Programmes are available locally, cost £5, and they support the Edinburgh and District Community Fund, which puts money into local good causes here in Fort William area.
Bringing more money back into the area, that's what it's all about. I'd say tomorrow's quite a good route, I think, isn't it, for the riders and spectators in a way. I know there's certain places you can't go to, but it's sort of more local than some of the other ones.
Yeah, and David Dignan was actually saying this morning that he's telling people not to follow the trial round on trail bikes because the only motorcycles that are allowed onto the course are competitors and official trial, those of the observers. So please, if you've got a trail bike with you, stick to the public highway. Don't go through gates and onto the open moorland to follow the trial round, not even to ride your bike up to the sections. Leave your bike at the side of the road and walk up. You're not allowed to go onto private land with a motorcycle. It's only available to competitors and officials of the trial.
These routes were made available, what, about a week, 2 weeks ago to the general public and everybody else.
Yeah.
Would riders have gone and had a look at them? Could they walk some of these routes to get an idea? Is it
not
allowed?
without the permission of the landowner,
That's what I was gonna ask,
technically,
yeah.
although in legal terms, there is the right to roam in Scotland, of course, where you can walk, but you can't take a bike with you. So taking a bike out to do a wee recce of the sections would not be allowed. But even on foot, it's such a big area up here to actually pinpoint where you think the officials are going to be putting the flags in, the markers. That's a bit of a hit or a miss, really. So the best thing to do is just come up and ride what's in front of you. Follow the flags, go to the sections, hand your card in for a delay if there's a big queue, and just ride the sections. I mean, I know over the years people have tried to do practicing and all the rest of it, and practicing in private land is not allowed. You're not allowed to use motorcycles off-road unless you've got permission. You're not allowed to have a competition unless there's a permit being issued, and that's the way that it works. So David Ignan put out a plea this morning. They found out that some people have been going out, taking pictures of what they think are going to be the sections, using these grid references to try and pinpoint it, and they've obviously taken bikes onto private land, and that's an absolute no-no, because you're not allowed to do that without the permission of the landowner.
Hey, we don't upset them, because they say without them this does not happen.
It wouldn't have happened. There wouldn't be a trial.
And I always that logistic nightmare of making sure we got all those boxes ticked to let this happen throughout the week must be a huge taking on.
Yeah, exactly. So there we
a
have
lot of
it.
letters and emails and official bits of paper, I guess. And the results, as they were saying, it's very tight at the top. Is it four riders
Four
sharing the
people
top?
on one mark. I mean, usually they put the... I haven't seen one this morning because we haven't been facing directly to the riser, but normally what they do is they put a yellow number board on. So if you're watching the trial and you've not been used to it, a lot of newcomers this year, that's what David was saying, there's 80 newcomers in the trial this year. They have a yellow number board with the black numerals, so that would indicate the leader of the trial for today, and there's four of them. It's Jack Price, Jack Peace, Dan Peace and Ross Danby are all on one mark, so I presume that they'll be joint leaders. At the moment, furthest clean, I think that's probably how they've ranked them. It looks as though furthest clean. Jack Price is obviously the furthest clean. He's got further along the course before he lost his solitary dab, whereas Jack Peace got to section 5 before he lost the dab, and Dan Peace got to section 4. But there again, Ross Danby, he got to the same section as Jack Price, so they've not really ranked them as the way I thought they might, but there we have it. But as I say, it's early days yet. That was only the Monday score, so we've got another 5 days scores to go before we see an absolute winner of the Scottish 6 days. To try and predict a winner at this stage would be very difficult indeed. But on the scores, you're looking at maybe a few marks off the top boys, whereas back in the day when Bernie Schreiber won in 1982, he lost over 100 marks. I think it was 105 marks, which was a bit of a record, actually, taking the marks off. So you can imagine the clubmen, when they were coming home on the Saturday, as to the number of marks they were losing. And at that time, it was 30 sections a day times 6 days, 180 sections. Times 5, you were almost on that maximum. It was a bit cruel then, but there you go. That's just the way it was.
Exactly. Well, so I'm going to ask you to find one more tune which will take us up to the news. We'll do, a quick farewell and round up what's happening tomorrow. Can you find Ollie Alexander, please, Dizzy, the Eurovision Song Contest
I can.
for the UK?
Yeah, that's fine.
Because Eurovision this weekend.
Is it this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Semi-finals start today.
Wow.
Semi-finals.
When was the Eurovision one for 1974? Yesterday, didn't we? It was Waterloo by ABBA. That was a Eurovision winner.
Yeah, well, so this is this year's entry, Ollie Alexander, from years and years.
Ollie Alexander, that's why I can't find it. I was looking for Danny Alexander
Ollie,
for some reason.
Ollie.
Yeah. Ollie.
Oi.
Yeah.
So how many minutes is that?
Eh?
How many minutes have I got to talk? That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, minute 20. Talking of Eurovision, if you've seen this weekend, David is listening down out in Malik. I don't know if he's watching, but
he loves it.
He loves a bit of Eurovision.
Yeah,
So if you're in Malik,
we do send pictures to each other now and again. So.
if you're in Malik, go to David's house. He'll have a party.
He will indeed.
I'm just inviting you to David's house now.
He won't mind.
Probably not.
He'll be pleased to have somebody to talk to. Love you, David. You know that. And I hope your donkey's doing okay. Has died. We've adopted donkeys.
Oh,
each.
that's sad.
My donkey, Mrs. W's donkey died.
Oh.
Right.
Last year, unfortunately, but he had a happy end. So that's I don't know where we get onto donkeys from James.
You've kind of put a bit of a downer on that after 4 hours of live broadcasting now.
Well, he did well. You know, he's a rescue donkey, and it's I bought it for Mrs. W for her birthday a few years ago.
Oh, right.
So that's what you do to the ones you love. So tomorrow, as we'll be back here, usual stuff going on, try and catch up with a few more of the riders, some different people, because obviously they're setting off probably around about 100.
Yeah, that's right. About 100 tomorrow we're starting off. But we've caught a few people today. It was good to see Carlos Casas and Laia Sanz and also Emma Bristow earlier on. So we have actually caught quite a few riders today. We just have to keep our eye, keep turning left to see who's actually coming into the start field. And some interesting characters we've had a chat with today.
Yeah, that's all. Locations changed over the last few years, and I say we're not right in front now, we're just to the side, but we're in the action, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
It is Nevis Radio, live and exclusive from the 6 Days Trial each and every morning. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Thanks to John Moffat, thanks to David Green, thanks to Daniel McLeod. I'm John Weller and Simon back at the studio. Be back tomorrow.
Bye.